What's going on, guys? I'm Chris Oberly, and welcome to the At the Table experience. Our next lecturer has had over 2 million views on YouTube. He's been on Penn & Teller, Fool Us. Actually, it's 5 million. I just got corrected. He's been on Penn & Teller, Fool Us, currently America's Got Talent, and he was actually on America's Got Talent last week. So let's take a look at his audition on America's Got Talent right now.
So I decided, since I didn't use all the judges, I want to come down one more time up close to you and do something amazing. Melby, really important question with the Rubik's Cube. I'm going to start to mix it up. Here's my question. Is that Rubik's Cube still mixed up on all 6 sides, yes or no?
It looks like it, yes.
Yes, I want you to watch close. If I turn the Rubik's Cube one time, that's still going to be mixed up. The cheating happens the moment you throw it straight up in the air. This time twice as hard. We're going to take the Rubik's Cube. It's going to happen right in front of your face. If you actually blink, you're going to miss it. Watch. Completely mixed up from there, less than a millisecond.
What do you do with that? That's ridiculous.
Wow. This is making me nervous.
Reba, can you help me out?
Sure.
Awesome. I'm going to step right up here. Reba, hold out your left hand flat for me there. Everyone watch the bottom of the Rubik's Cube closely. Watch that close. Like that. Now your job is to guard that Rubik's Cube to the very end of the trick. Can you do that?
Yep.
Fantastic. Nothing's going to happen. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
And we're going to do a card trick real quick during this moment. Heidi, can you actually help me select the card?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Before you select the card, really, really important, I'm going to make sure to give that deck a really good shuffle. So as I go through the cards, any card that you want, it's a completely free choice out of 52. Heidi, when you see a card you want, name it out loud.
Yes.
Any one you want.
The 6 of diamond.
The 6 of diamonds. Wait, okay, that card in the middle. Very important question. Have I touched that Rubik's Cube, Reba, since
Nope.
I gave it to you?
No, sir.
Everyone watch the 6 of diamonds closely. Watch that close.
Is he tearing it up?
Watch that tiny little corner piece.
I'm not moving my eyes off.
You can look at her.
I'm gonna get that tiny little corner piece to completely disappear from my hand, fly in the air, and land underneath the Rubik's Cube in Reba's hand.
No, you can't do that.
If that corner piece is under, that'd be amazing, right?
Yes.
Reba, lift it up slowly in a loud, clear voice. Is the corner underneath there?
No.
That would have been awesome.
It would have been.
I'm gonna do one better. That tiny corner piece is gonna go inside the Rubik's Cube in your hand. Heidi, can you hold on to the 6 of diamonds? Just like this?
That's impossible.
It is now inside. My hands are empty. I'll take the cube back. I want you to watch really, really closely. I'm gonna take off a tiny little piece right there. If I actually break off that tiny little corner piece, everyone's gonna notice we're gonna have a tiny little Reba, do you mind unfolding that corner piece?
No.
Yes, it is.
No.
That's ridiculous. How do you do that? Wow.
Thank you, YouTube. Thank you for watching on air.
There we go. Awesome. That was awesome, man. So we have Stephen Brundage, the man himself. And even watching that video, Simon just looks pissed off the whole entire time.
All right.
So good job at pissing Simon Cowell off.
Thank you.
But you're going to be teaching a couple things. You're going to be teaching cube things, stuff, a couple things with cards. You're also going to talk about a little bit about America's Got Talent.
Yeah, I'm going to go into some behind the scenes of America's Got Talent, maybe Fool Us, you know, some of the different TV stuff I've done.
And this is your first lecture.
My first lecture ever. I've turned down dozens of lectures, but I thought, you know, I liked people at Murphy's.
Boom.
So they convinced me to come do one.
Yes, I begged them. I did things that no, never mind. Anyway, so let's talk about America's Got Talent. So what was that like? So you did, I mean, you applied online, I'm guessing, or you went to the auditions. And
Yeah,
how
so-
many auditions did you go through?
Yeah, so initially they reached out to me because they saw me on Fool Us. But basically I had to drive all the way down to New York City to do the first audition like everyone else who goes. And
Wait in line?
Yeah. So I mean, I came super late. I got in at like 9 at night, and they get you in a room with just one producer. So you're stuck with that one producer, and you do your tricks, and then a lot of times you'll be like, okay, great, go home. But after that, they sent me into another room where they had the 4 executive producers with a tiny little camera and a giant room.
Right.
So you do your tricks to these producers, and they've seen 1,000 tricks that day.
So they just don't react to anything.
Yeah. So they're just like, okay,
It's cool.
you know, and then you have
Right.
no idea how you're doing or whether they even like you. So I
Right.
did that second audition in front of the 4 EPs that same day, and then you just go home, and then you just wait months and months to hear back from them.
That's crazy. That'd be like so nerve-wracking, just waiting.
Yeah, like I mean, you don't know. They're like, well, might give you a call, we might not. They have over 50,000 auditions.
Right.
You know, from either online or in person. So there's just a chance of making it to the live shows, which is not the live shows. The first round is 300 people perform in front of the judges out of the 50,000. So.
And even, I mean, I've heard this, and we were talking about it yesterday. Even if you audition in front of the judges and they shoot it, sometimes nobody even sees. Them.
It's
doesn't
kind
see
of
the light
crazy.
of day.
Out of the 300 people that perform in front of the judges, I think 120 will make TV time. And out of that, your segment might only be like 10 to 20 seconds. So just even making the show is, a pretty rare chance.
Right.
And I know lots of magicians who do fantastic magic, but it's more than just a trick. It's a lot of times it's a story, it's what's behind you, and it's just a lot of luck with it as well.
Yeah. So like I said before, we're going to be talking. Steven's going to be teaching some cube things, some card stuff. We're going to be talking about branding, behind the scenes, a little behind the scenes, what he can say with America's Got Talent. And if you guys want to Skype in, if this is your first time seeing the lecture itself, you guys can Skype in, and you can ask Steven questions face to face. You'll appear on the TV. There is our Skype name @_the_table. Just type in your questions, and our moderator will look at them, and if they're good enough, you guys will come on the show and talk to Steven itself. I'm guessing a lot of girls would probably call in.
Oh boy.
So
yeah. Also, if
know.
you're coming from my social media like Twitter, Instagram, and you're watching this, you guys are awesome.
Yeah.
For tuning in.
awesome.
And you get to
awesome.
learn the secrets.
Yeah, the
You're
secrets.
probably lay people watching this too.
Yeah, it's against the rules.
Oh boy.
So, but yeah, let's break in some cube stuff. I mean, cubes. I was here when I started working for this company. Cube 3 was the first major DVD that I was a part of, and we filmed it. Our 2 guys here filmed them,
Yeah.
and I, was watching the monitor and everything. Told you to, let's reshoot it and stuff. But it has been doing really well. Steven, as many of you guys know, Cube 3 is one of Steven's products, and you can not only learn how to solve a cube, but you learn a bunch of really cool effects. Some of them that have been on America's Got Talent. And
But why don't we do the cube card effect? I'll do a version of what I did, what you just saw on America's Got Talent, so they could learn that. It's not the exact version, but this is something that you could do, or just a variation upon it. So I'll perform it and then teach it.
Perfect.
Awesome. So, Chris, do you mind holding out your hand flat for me? We'll use the bottom of the Rubik's Cube right there. And we'll also have a card selected from the pack. I'm going to go down the side of the deck. Do you mind actually just saying the word stop anytime you want?
Stop.
Right there. Perfect. I'm going to leave the card sticking out. I'll let everyone see that card at home as well. I could see it through the monitor, the 2 of clubs. Have I touched that cube yet?
No.
So watch the 2 of clubs. Watch that tiny little corner piece. I'm going to get it to completely disappear from this hand. Get it to fly in the air and actually go inside the Rubik's Cube. Now, it's not one of the corner pieces. Check this out. If we actually go to the Rubik's Cube, if I just peel off the top inside there,
Come on.
should be a corner piece. You take it out, and it is the same exact torn off corner.
That's awesome.
That lines up.
This would be a great addition to some of the performances in Cube 3.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this wasn't on there.
Cube 3? No, this was not taught on there. So this is a slight variation of what I did there, and I'll teach you this and some of the different ways you could do this right now.
Perfect.
So Sweet. So the trick originated. This is Daniel Madison's Angle Z. This is almost an exact way to perform it. My version on the America's Got Talent is a little different. There's lots of different additions to that. But it is a fantastic trick. Gets some of the best reaction out of any tricks I do. And it's kind of powerful. Wouldn't you guys agree? There's two people.
Yeah, there's two
we
people
have two
over
people watching. One
Yeah.
guy drove 2.5 hours just to see this.
But Angle Z, I mean, that's one of my favorite effects.
Yeah.
That was the first trick I ever did to my fiance. And now she's my fiance.
Right. So if you want to learn about it, just Google Daniel Z. No, sorry. Daniel Madison, Angle Z, and then you could learn the trick. But I'll give you the basic idea for it. So you start with any card. I'll show you guys. We have the Queen of Spades, and you're basically going to rip the corner ahead of times. And it's really important the way you actually rip the corner. You actually want the card facing towards you when you rip, and you're going to rip, left hand's holding here, this index right here with your right hand, but you want to rip it towards you. So I'll let you guys see that. So you grab her on here, and you start pulling towards you. So the tear, you're going to have a little lip. I don't know if you guys could see that. I'm getting even closer. Yeah, so you see the card, there's going to be a little lip, so you could see where you're tearing like that. And you're just going to tear off the corner. You can make it as original as you want, so you could tear different creases there. However you want to tear it, so you have a little unique corner that you could tell that lines up, that matches perfectly.
And it helps as well. Like, see, Steven ripped it right here underneath the diamond, so there's a little piece of the diamond right here. And so they know for a fact that corner matches
And
up.
then the reason you tear towards you is when they line it up, you can actually see how it's a perfect tear. If you tore the opposite way, it wouldn't line up as well. But that's the basic idea. So you have this card. And the cool part about this trick, I do this towards the Rubik's Cube. You could put this little piece of corner anywhere. So I could put it underneath Chris's seat. I could put it under the mat, and you could reveal it anywhere you want. For me, I use the Rubik's Cube. This is called a treasure chest cube, and it's basically a cube that just opens up like that. And you could fit stuff inside.
And this is the setup that Steven just did. So you rip that off. You place this wherever you want. Since Steven did it from the Rubik's Cube, you place that piece inside the Rubik's Cube. And then maybe you could do some of the effects with the Rubik's Cube, switch the cube out. And then...
Yep. So we'll put it inside the cube like that. And we would give it. And you could put it under the cube. There's lots of different ways you can do it. But that's just the basic idea. With this card, you don't have to force the Queen of Diamonds. And there's a million different ways you can force. The simplest way is the basic riffle force. And I'm assuming that most of the people on here have some sleight of hand with cards, some knowledge. If not, you should probably study a lot more.
Right.
But I'll try to explain it as best as possible. Essentially, the card that you're going to force, I'll use a different card for now, but let's say we wanted to force the 7 of spades. We're going to have that face up. You're going to cut it into the middle and keep your pinky break right there. So you basically just have a pinky break right above that card. Your thumb is going to riffle down the side and basically say stop anytime you want.
Stop.
And wherever they say stop, you want to be about near where the 7's going to be. And wherever they say stop, it could be below it, above it. All you're going to do is you're going to reach behind and lift up where that break is. So you're now left it with a 7. But instead of that card, you're going to have the queen in the deck. So you basically have your pinky break. The nice part about this is since the card is ripped, I don't know if you guys can see that, there's going to be that little break right there naturally. So if you want to, all you actually have to do is just pick up with your thumb where the break is. Oh, sorry. And then get your pinky below. So that looks basically like that at speed. And now you have your break. Say the word stop.
Stop.
Right there. You're going to reach back behind the break, grab it, and then instead of exposing that card, because you have that tear, it's hard to see right now, but that card is, you're just going to, when you lift it up, you're going to go back, and you're just going to slide that card up, like that.
Awesome.
Now the important part about taking the card out, you just don't want to take it out like that. You're going to draw attention to the Rubik's Cube first. So right now, instead of saying, oh, the Queen of Spades, that's your card, at this point, you're going to say, I have not touched that cube since I gave it to you. And at that point, everyone's focus shifts back on the cube. I haven't touched it, right? And the moment they say that, you're going to turn the deck slightly forward, reach around, and your pinky finger is basically just going to rotate that card and grab. But you want to keep your fingers closed. So basically it looks like that. And the reason that I tilt the deck forward is now, even if you expose it, they're not going to be able to tell that the corner is ripped a little bit. So have I touched that cube at all? No, rip it out. I'm going to take the corner out. And the best part about this part is you actually tear the card a little bit so they hear the tear in their head. So from here, I mean, I don't know if you guys could hear it, but is that showing up? So you could hear the tear as I rip it. And you're going to do 3 of them. So basically you cover, this finger comes, and you're going to peel this forward as you just tear a little tiny tear in the card like that. You're going to now go halfway down in the deck, halfway down in the corner, and tear in the middle. And then rotate this way, and then just tear on the other side. And then you basically want your fingers to pull against the card so they hear a tiny little ripping sound. Now you pretend you have the corner piece. At this point, you tore the card a little bit. They don't really notice that, but they've been hearing the tears all along. Do the rip. From here, you can vanish this little corner piece any way you want. I know some people might take it, you know, and slowly vanish it in their hand. They might put it in the other hand. You know, they might just take it and then just, you know, so at this point, it's up to your creativity, how you want the corner piece to vanish. But you're done with the effect at this point. You have nothing in your hand. You make this little piece completely vanish, and then you make it appear wherever you sent it to go. So at this point, it's going to be in the cube. Yeah, I saw I already put it there.
And then ask them to match it up.
Yeah,
and
then they
of
line it up.
course.
So you get the first effect of, very important the way you reveal it is because they're going to open it up and you want to make sure, is that the Queen of Diamonds? They will say yes, and that's the first, like, holy shit, that's the Queen of, can I, oh.
Yeah, it's fine. Whatever you want.
So that's the Queen of Diamonds, and then you want to say, very importantly, line it up so they know it's a perfect match. Since it is the same thing, you can make sure they line it up so it does match perfectly.
Awesome.
So that is angle 0.
Angle 0. Now, the version that you did in America's Got Talent.
Yes.
I mean, Cube 3 was good.
Yeah.
But we're working on, it's exclusive, on a new Cube.
Yeah, I think we're doing like a Cube, either Cube 4 or Cube 3 Plus.
Yeah.
And that would cover, I call it Cube 0.
Cube 0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it would basically cover, and the nice part about what you see in America's Got Talent is when they select a card, it's literally any card they want, completely free choice. And then you could do it multiple times. So I do a strolling set. When I do strolling magic, I'll do that same trick, 10 times over and over again. You don't have to reset, you just keep on doing it.
Right.
So that's like the best part about it.
That's awesome.
So
yeah, and so there'll be that in this new Cube DVD. There'll be that effect and so much more. There's a lot of really good Cube effects that you haven't really showed anybody before. But that's awesome, man. So let's go back to how this whole thing started. The viral cop video.
Viral cop video, yeah.
So in the beginning I said 2 million views. He's had 2 million views. The cop video has had 2 million views, but everything else, with Fool Us and America's Got Talent, I mean, it's over 5, a lot over 5.
Well, I mean, just on my YouTube channel, it's 5 million, but when you can, like, all the other YouTube channels, it's probably up to 10 million or more.
Yeah.
And then it's pretty insane, though.
So, when you have a viral video that has that many views, I mean, so if you guys haven't heard of this, you need to search Stephen Brundage gets out of speeding ticket.
Magician gets out of speeding ticket.
Yeah. And he gets pulled over, and a cop asks him why he has all these decks and cubes, and he pretty much does this crazy cube stuff, and he gets out of the speeding ticket. And you had the cop record.
Yeah, so they pulled me over for doing 42 and a 30, and then the cop said, they were like, "Oh, are you a magician? Can you show us a trick?" At that point, they already checked on my license and whatnot, so they knew I was good. And I was like, "Sure." But the moment they said, "Can you do a trick?" my mind was like, I was speeding. That doesn't happen very often. So I asked officers to record first, and they said yes. And then I was about to do the Rubik's Cube magic for the cop sitting in my car, and I thought, it would be so much better if I could stand up because then I could do it behind my back.
Right.
And I could, do more tricks with the officers. So I stepped out of the car. I asked them first politely, and then I gave them my phone to record it, and I just did the magic for them.
And then, so how do you, once you have a video go viral, how would you capitalize on that?
Yeah, I think, well, the most important thing about videos going viral is it's a lot to do with the content. It's very, I mean, you could spend hours, it's hard to know what makes a video go viral. You know, you can spend hours making the most coolest, awesome production ever, and then it might get 1,000 views.
Right.
Where with the cop video, the moment the video was taken, I called my ex-girlfriend, or my girlfriend at the time, and I said, I have a viral video. And she's like, oh, Steve, what are you talking about? And I was like, no, if the lighting is good and you can see what happens, this video has to go viral. Just because the cops were in the media. This is a couple years ago when the cops were, I mean, it's big now.
Right.
But when it was big a couple years ago with all the different things happening. And then also the fact that the cops were laughing and cursing and like really enjoying themselves watching the magic. So I knew that it had to take off in some way. And then the hard part is just capitalizing on it. I kind of had like a crash course in capitalizing. You know, as far as everything happening, people were covering me, but I had to learn how to eventually take it over myself. Whether it's like creating a press release for the viral video and getting on local media and then just promoting yourself.
Right. So would you get in touch with all those like local news stations and just say, hey, I have a video. It's had this many views, and you send them the video. Did you do that? Did you get in touch with like a bunch of news stations and see if they would want?
I think the biggest thing is creating relationships with the local media. I mean, if that's something that you want to be on. If your video has no views and you send them a clip like, hey, here's a video, put me online on the news, they're going to be like, you know, what is this?
Right.
You have to have a reason to be on the news, whether it is you're doing your own show. I mean, that's enough to get local press.
Right.
And the big thing is just whether you're producing your show, just get a press release, learn what a press release is, write one up, and then send an email to people and say, hey, I'm doing this show. I'm a local. You know, that helps a lot. And then just once they respond to you, try to get on that first show. And then from there, it just snowballs. You can start doing other radio, local media, a lot of newspapers as well.
Now, was there a second? I want to say that there was a second cop video.
Yeah, so I was pulled over for my tail light, my license plate light being out. And again, the officer said, oh, he's like, he started asking me, what am I doing? And it kind of led to like, I'm a magician.
Right.
Then he said, can you do me a trick? And I'll have to see a trick one time. And as he's walking away from the car, I was like, I can show you that trick right now. So he said yes. And I stepped out of the car and I didn't mag for the cops again. The reason why it didn't go viral was because the reactions weren't very good.
Right.
The cops were just like, well, you know, what do you do with that? That's cool. You know.
Yeah.
B, it was for a license plate license. It wasn't for speeding. Speeding was the story. You know, I got out of the speeding ticket.
Right. Did you get the ticket? On the second one? No.
And then the third one was cops weren't in the media at that time. So it was, you know, there's times when things just take off. And that sounds like it could have taken off, but it just wasn't the right time for it.
Nice. So we'll get into some more stuff about AGT and some behind the scenes stuff. But let's move on to some more tricks.
Oh.
So I can never solve a cube. Like no matter what I'm not that smart. Do you have any tips on solving? I mean, like maybe like a brief.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I mean, a really good resource for learning the cube is badmefisto.com.
Okay.
So if you search just bad me and then Fisto, Phisto, like it sounds, and he has the best resources for teaching how to solve the Rubik's cube. One big question on the Cube 3 teaching that I did. A lot of the times I taught, you want to get in on this? I mean, when I taught to turn it, I taught you to turn, with your wrists like this. And that was so you could have the basic movements down. A big thing is finger tricks, and that's going to cover, save so much time when learning to solve fast. A simple example was, instead of turning the top layer like this, you want the green, and also, wait, really quick, can I just, if you don't have a Rubik's Cube for this lecture, get one right now.
Yeah.
If you don't have one, you could watch everything, but get a Rubik's Cube, watch this entire lecture again with the cube in your hand and follow along. It's going to be a lot easier than if you're just trying to pick it up without a Rubik's Cube. Sorry. So with the green facing towards you, yellow up top, instead of turning the top layer like that, all you're going to do is with your right index finger, your thumb's going to be right there in the middle, fingers on the back like that. You're just going to flick the top like that. Mm-hmm. So instead of taking the time to reach your wrist around and do that, you could do that in less than, a tenth of a second.
And based on, I mean, for me, like before we filmed Cube 3, I never knew anything about Rubik's Cubes. But, the middle pieces never change. So, when when the whole cube's mixed up, the green side, there's be a green in the middle, and, it's algorithms. Different algorithms based on patterns, right? On the cube. And that's just memorizing, right?
And then like another quick finger trick is if you're gonna, so this is the front, this is the top side. If you want it to turn the right and then top, that takes a while with the wrist, where instead of that, if you keep your fingers here in this grip, thumbs on the bottom, fingers on top, try to get this so people can see. All you're gonna do is you're gonna go forward and then flick. And then if you want to go down too. So you could do that, instead of going like this, you could do that in one quick move. So that's a big thing as far as learning how to flick with your fingers instead of using all your wrist movement. Takes, that's pretty good to help it with your speed times.
Nice. And cool. So let's move on to some cube. Can we do some cube stuff?
Let's do some cube stuff.
Yeah, cube stuff.
Okay.
That'd be great.
So it helps to have a cube in your hand right now when doing this, like I said before. And I'm going to teach the most versatile move that I know when it comes to creating some cube stuff. So I'm going to turn my chair a little bit so you guys can actually, when you're getting closer to this real quick. Okay. Sweet. So whenever you hold the cube, you want to orientate it so the yellow is going to be facing up, and then the green stickers are facing you. So yellow facing up, green towards you. That's so we just have a starting point. And then if your cube does get messed up and you can't actually solve it, you could always pause it, later on and then watch it back again, so you could do this. But essentially, it's a one-handed mix-up, and I'll show you it first quickly. It looks like that. So you basically just mix up the Rubik's Cube to pattern, and then from this point, there's a million ways to solve it. You could solve it in your hands very quickly like that.
Ridiculous.
From that pattern, you could, I did this on America's Got Talent too. You could take it, put it in the bag quickly. I'll do the behind the back one real quick too. Oh. This kind of, actually, I did this trick on the last round of America's Got Talent, but they cut it out for time. And then the best part about it was I did the mix-up and I threw it behind my back, caught it solved, and then Heidi then checked my butt. She touched my butt to see if there was an extra Rubik's Cube, but they took it out.
So lucky.
So, yeah. So it's not on TV though. But so this is what it looks like. You mix it like that. You can now show the sides mixed up. From there, one-handed, behind the back, if I could get it like that.
That's crazy.
So, sweet. Let's teach that now.
Yeah, so just like cards, there's false shuffles for cubes.
For the Rubik's Cube.
And was it 3 moves? 3 moves away from solving? When you're doing the toss?
The toss is 4 moves away.
4 moves. And then what about in the hands? Is that 4 as well?
Yeah, it's all different ways of unscrambling it to do it.
Okay. Nice, let's do it.
And then, sweet, let's go right into it. So remember, green is facing towards you. And just a quick orientation of the cube. When you're holding the cube towards you, this is going to be the front side, this is the up side, right side, left side, bottom, and back. So basically, if I say the front side, it's going to be the side closest towards you. And it's 4 moves. To keep it really simple, we're always going to start moving the right side with the right index finger like that. Not the right side, coming from the right side like that. But basically, you're going to go big, big, little, little. And so you're going to do the big side like that, little side up. Oh, no, sorry, this is confusing.
It's okay.
So when I say big side, I mean you're going to move, is that right or no? Is it little, little, big, big, or what is it, Devon?
Big, big, little, little.
Big,
Big,
okay.
big, little.
So when I say big, you're going to move the outer laters. And when I say little, you're going to move these kind of layers right there. So you're going to go big, big, little, little move from there. Right now, you have the cube here. Basically, you're going to reverse these 2 sides. So you have the yellow center facing there, and then on the left side, you have the green. So basically, you're just going to invert, sorry, this is orange. you're going to invert the
So, you have,
orange.
so real quick, you have
Yeah.
the orange side on top.
And we're talking about the centerpieces
Yeah,
because they don't
centerpiece.
move. So the center orange and the center green's on the left. You're going to invert these two so the orange is on the left and the green is on top. So from there, you're going to invert them.
Like that.
So now the orange is on the left and green is on top. And you notice you're going to have two big giant squares right here facing towards you. And this is going to be your front side right now. When facing the camera, you're holding it like this. Remember, you have the two big squares there. This is your hand positioning for it. And then you have this nice display that looks really, really mixed up. From there, in order to solve the cube, the moves that you're going to do are little, little, big, big. But you're always going to start with this index finger first. So it's going to be, you're going to have your thumb right here on the edge, the bottom corner right there, middle finger on the back of it. So it's going to be little, little, big, and big move. So it's basically the opposite of what you did to get into it. So I'll show you that, guys, again. So you could rewind this and just repeat this step over and over again, where it's going to be big, big, little, little. Remember, you have the orange and green here. Invert these two.
Wait, would it be little, little, big, big? Is that right? Is this right, Devon? Because somebody's on. So we have a chat, and they have it's little, little, big, big. Then to reverse it, it's big, big, little, little.
Well, it depends what a big move is and a little move.
Right.
So it's basically it's just like
It's
the
an acronym.
It's kind of just to get it
Right.
in your head when you think it's just going to be the big, big, little, little, or
Okay.
little,
Little,
big,
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 big.
either one.
Okay.
But essentially, when solving it, so to get back to that position, have your fingers here. You're going to start with, it's like a two-way move like this. So you're going to move the middle piece right here. So it's going to be the middle, like that.
Okay.
So I'm calling this a little move right now, but it could be a big move.
Big-
But for
right.
right now, this is little.
Okay.
So little, little, big, big. Or I should maybe use outside or inside.
Yeah.
But right now, this might just confuse people
Right.
even more.
Yeah. So
What makes sense to you guys? Little,
based
little,
on-
big, big, outside, inside?
Well, for me,
Outside, inside is probably
Outside,
better.
inside?
So we're going to switch it up right now. Forget everything you just
Yeah.
learned. So green facing towards you, yellow up top. So this is an outside move. That's an outside move. An inside move is where you move the middle, but the top moves as well. So and then
Right, it's this. Okay.
yeah.
Got it.
And then in order to move this one coming up, I'll show you guys. So in order to move the top one, it looks like that.
With their first finger.
Yep, your index finger is going to look like that. In order to move the outside one right here, let me try to get a better camera angle, yeah. Your ring finger is just going to push up like that. To do the inside move coming this way, your index finger is just going to push the middle side like that, coming in. And then do an inside move coming up. Your ring finger is going to go like that. So to get into it, we're going to go outside, outside, inside, inside. You have the orange and the green. You're going to rotate them, invert them like that. Sorry. And then to get it back, it's going to be inside, inside, outside, outside. You're always going to start with that index finger, though. So it's going to be inside, inside, outside, outside.
So you're doing that, like, so in the motion of tossing in the air, let's say, you're doing those 3 moves,
Those 4 moves, yeah.
or 4 moves, I'm sorry, 4 moves super ridiculously fast.
Yeah, so I mean, more than fast, it is smooth.
Yeah, smooth.
So I'll show you with the bag thing, for example. So, and then as far as learning that, if you want to replay that 20 times to get it, it does take a while, but eventually your brain will click and
Yeah.
you'll understand. So I'll show you this right here if you guys want to. So the green is still facing towards me, but basically this is now in reverse for you, but basically it's outside, outside, inside, inside. And then now you have your position where you have the 2 blocks facing you. And then the nice part about this display is it really genuinely looks mixed up from there. And there's no big blocks because you're hiding them with the back of your hand.
Now, when he says big blocks, he means
Those big squares.
These big squares right here.
So you're going to have a line up front like that. You're holding it like this. And then to do the solve, this is what this is going to be the inside, inside, outside, outside move, what you just learned earlier. At first, it will be really, really hard to do. and then you invert. So from here, you might be doing it, it might be a struggle to even do the first move, second move, the third move. It might take even 10 seconds just to do that quick move.
Right. But over time, muscle memory.
This
will
is
kick in.
this is not something that you're going to learn within 10 minutes. If you pick up a cube, you'll probably do it. But if you pick up a cube for the first time, this is going to take hours of practice to
Right.
learn. But obviously, if you care about magic and you want to do something really well, I think time is really important if you want to invest it. I mean, if you want to be good at least. So more important than worrying about doing the moves ultra fast, because you could do them, relatively fast. You want to work on just the smoothness of it. You want to do it without pause. You want to just go so the next move flows. Before this move is even done, you're going to start the next move. And then after that, the next move.
It's crazy. So when you're solving it, when you put it inside the bag, are you solving it, doing the 4 moves as you're putting it inside the bag?
Yeah, so there's a couple ways to do it. You can do inside or outside, but basically as you go in, it's basically you're going to go into the bag, and as soon as you get past the lip, it's just going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you just drop it all the way into the bag. And you can do that relatively quick. Like you get the point where, but you just want to make sure you're not, struggling to get it in, and they can see you fiddling around. You want to go where as soon as it's in the bag, it's smooth all the way down, and it's smooth all the way out. And at that point, you just do those moves.
Awesome. So somebody that is on the chat right now, Greg. What's up, Greg?
Is this Greg, our Greg, or a different
Greg Gelb. I'm hoping I'm saying your name right.
What chat is this? Is this?
So people that are watching the lecture right now, there's like a chat box, and they can type in chats. And those are coming in right now.
Okay.
So everybody's like, Chris, you're ridiculously good looking. And
Are they saying all that
yeah,
stuff?
I don't see anything about it.
Is it all positive or negative? What are they saying?
No, good
Okay.
so far.
Also, if you guys are from my Twitter or Instagram or something, comment saying that you came to this
Yeah,
and you're
that'd
watching.
be awesome. Yeah. So Greg, he just typed in a big thing. He said, let's see, I'll just read it all. Tips on bag and behind the back solve. Behind the back, the throw. I guess tips on that. Tips and technique of throwing behind the back to do the little, big, and vice versa moves. He says, my cube needed to be loosened as it was always getting stuck when he was doing the moves. But once it loosened, it can never really get to that perfect spot, how it was when he received the Cube 3 cube. What advice can you give to him once someone has loosened or tightened the cube and it can't get back to its original position?
Do we have a Cube 3 cube here anywhere?
George, do we have a Cube 3? Oh,
Sweet. Because all my cubes are. I'll tell you about some of the cubes that I have. But I mean, I'll go quickly into the cube brands and whatnot.
bet you can't solve this.
So are you really mixing it? Oh, God. You mixing it up. As far as cube brands, everyone asks what cube is included in the DVD. It's called the Shangshao Aurora. So if you just Google Shangshao Aurora, a million cubes will come up. You could buy them. They cost about $7, $8. So if your Cube 3 breaks, or if it doesn't even work well, buy one for $8, $10, whatever. And it might not be the same exact type, but it'll be smooth enough for the cube.
Awesome.
You could also go online and then just go on Amazon and search Speed Cube, and then any Speed Cube. You could basically do all the same tricks with any really Speed Cube.
What cube did you use in AGT?
I
Different one?
have no idea. I think I used this one. This might be the one that I used. But this is actually a custom-made Speed Cube that I basically had people put it together and tension it for me and build it for me.
Nice.
But you pay a little premium for it.
Cool. Okay, so loosen and tightening.
Yes.
I never really knew that cubes can come apart like that. They're speed cubes.
Does anyone have a screwdriver here?
Possibly.
Planning. That's important in life.
Did I mix it up good?
You did mix it up.
Yes. We actually have somebody from Instagram, Casey Allen.
Hi, Casey. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you. Somebody said, can you use a cube that you get from Walmart?
No.
No.
We
were at the warehouse, and Steven was doing his cube stuff, or people wanted him to, and they just had a super cheap cube there.
It does.
Like
The problem with the Walmart cubes is they turn like bricks, so you need something that moves smoothly.
These are speed cubes.
Yeah.
So
We're waiting on that screwdriver.
yeah, so we're waiting on the screwdriver. What kind of Phillips?
That could work. Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Cool. It's Josiah.
Sweet. Yeah. So as far as tensioning, I'll show you guys this up close. Each side has a different set tension. So if you come in really, really close on this, you could see that they come apart. You see that this side on the right, see how it's coming a little bit further apart than the other side? So you have to like adjust the different tensions, but I'll do a quick example of that. So in order to pop off the piece, let's say you want to tighten the yellow side since it's too loose here or too tight. Basically, you're going to turn the cube 45 degrees, or just instead of the full turn, just halfway. Your thumb is going to come here, and you're basically just going to pry out. There you get it. One of the edge pieces. So you have to turn it halfway, pry it out. From there, you're going to be able to see the center cap right there, and it's this top piece right here. If you just pop this open, you now have a little screw here. So basically, from there, with this giant tool right here, if you screw
the biggest screwdriver ever.
If you screw to the right, I'm going to screw it all the way to the right. It's going to make this really, really tight. So at this point, if I put this back in, it won't even fit. It's too tight. But basically now this layer won't even turn because now it's just
tight.
way too tight. So basically you want to find a nice even tension. If you turn way to the left too much, the cube is going to be way too loose and it might just pop apart by accident because it's not put together properly. So you basically want to just play around with the tensions until you find something that works. Let's pop it back in.
So it's just playing with
Yeah.
like the tension and turning
Yeah,
the
and obviously if you're at a point where it's so screwed up you can't help it, just buy another one online.
Right.
And it'll come pretty,
Okay.
you know.
So Ben Stone, also for those of you guys that don't do cube stuff, that are like, man, there's just so many algorithms that I have to memorize. I don't know if I can memorize all those. What Ben Stone did, he's in our chat right now. He's a tip that he said, which is a really good idea. When he was learning the solves of these effects that Steven's doing that was on Cube 3, he found that writing down the algorithms on his phone really helped him, and he could just access them if he ever got
If you're on the
confused.
go and you want to look up
Right.
them. Also, with Cube 3, I go over this stuff in much more detail.
Yeah.
So if you're looking at the Cube stuff and like, this stuff is confusing, make sure to get Cube 3, watch it, and then kind of learn the stuff.
Dude, you have so many ladies are coming in,
Are they really? No way.
watching.
Are you kidding? or no?
Brittany.
Brittany. Oh, Brittany. Hi,
From
Brittany. Is she
Instagram,
watching?
Twitter, and Snap. This has never happened before. What is this?
Jeez.
What's going on? Like when I do this stuff, no ladies come.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
all
they're
just-
coming right
It's
now.
all just the men.
So we'll
Anyway,
sorry. Let's cover the behind the back.
yeah,
Let's
behind the back. We're moving on.
cover
Sorry.
a little bit of.
I just, all these girls are just
I know Brittany pretty well.
brought me
but-
off topic.
Okay.
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 Pretty well.
Pretty well. So, so a lot with the behind the back thing. It's very important to catch a Rubik's cube. I've done it in a few settings where it'll toss it and then it'll slam it at the ground, and a lot of times that will happen. So I'll show you exactly what happened. Your cube 3 just broke. All the pieces fell off into a million pieces. That's why you want to practice over at bed. So I learned the hard way. Get something soft to practice on. And it's really important with the behind the back. Instead of practicing with the moves, so instead of doing the moves and practicing, what you want to do is literally hold it in your hand and then just practice getting a good toss down. So you could take it with your right or left hand, throw it behind your back, and you want to be able to catch it centered about 100 times.
Right.
You might be off here or there, but essentially you should almost be able to do it with your eyes closed at that point.
Right.
And it's really important just to get a good toss, because if you're doing walk around magic and someone has their food or you're doing it at tables, you do not want your cube to smash in front of stuff.
Right.
And I've done the behind the back toss well into the thousands of times, whether it's 5,000, 10,000, 15,000 times, and I've never hit someone with it. I've gotten to the point where I'll get within 1 foot of their face or an inch between their face, but I've never hit them, so I'm proud about that.
Oh, and one thing that I saw in when you're at the warehouse and you're performing, when you did the behind the back solve, you had somebody else catch it.
That
was really cool.
This is a really fun way to do it, but that's like a slight different variation. But basically, when you do I'll do the moves again. It's You go outside, outside, inside, inside. Invert the orange and the green. So you have that. At that point, when you're tossing, you could just do the behind the back toss and catch it. Another really fun thing is to have someone else hold out both your hands. And you have to really stretch them. I want you to catch the Rubik's Cube.
Right,
Get ready to catch it.
Okay.
Hold out both hands. And this is kind of cool because now it's out of your hands. It almost seems impossible where from there, one hand and behind the back. And you want to get your toss down where you could actually toss it to their hands.
Right. That's awesome.
A few tips about doing when you're actually doing the moves. So with the 4 moves, more important than doing them really, really fast and getting it out as quickly as possible, work on the smoothness. So when you're first starting it, try to do it like this, where you're coming down, and then start the moves here. So it's basically just going to be 1, 2, 3, and you want to get it to a point where your hand isn't stopping. So you don't want to do this. I've seen some people, they'll bring it behind their back and then they'll pause,
Right,
and then they'll do the toss.
Right.
So it's really important just to really work on the smoothness. So if you have to start here and just work on it so your hand is not stopping, work on the smoothness, and then eventually you're going to keep on doing it where you get faster and faster and faster. And then you'll get to a point where you didn't have to start the moves until you get right about behind the back, and then you can do them pretty quick.
It's ridiculous.
And
That's
then
so
the noise part, usually if you're in any type of a performing environment, they're not going to hear the noise. If you're in a bar or walk around magic,
doesn't matter.
Nothing.
Right. That's awesome. Awesome.
Also, I'm getting over a little cold, so sorry about all the sniffles.
Do you guys have any questions in studio? Kyle, Josiah, Devon? No? LaQuisha? Stephanie?
LaFonda?
No? LaFonda? No? If you guys have any questions as well, you guys can type in, or you guys can Skype us as well. There it is, right under there.
No one's Skype so far? No one's
Nobody,
called in?
yeah, if you guys want to.
Yeah, someone Skype.
Yeah. So, and if you guys have any other questions about Cube stuff, because I'm sure that there's tons of questions that people have, feel free to ask. Cool, man. So, what are some common mistakes when people show you, like when you went to Magic Live? And that was, I think, the last time I saw you before this. When people would do Cube 3 stuff to you, what are some common mistakes?
I mean, I think the big one is just practice, like really just getting the moves down so you could really, really do it. And it's going to take more than a week to get it smooth. It's going to take a good amount of practice. Like even with card magic, though, no one picks up a deck of cards and they don't just do a spring on it within a day or a week. You have to do it for years and years. So I mean, if you're interested in Rubik's Cube magic, don't plan to be really good within a week. I would always have one around. You don't have to necessarily perform it, but if you just have one sitting there, you're watching America's Got Talent or some TV show.
Could be anyone.
Anyone you want. Yeah. But basically, you just sit there and just do the moves. You could do this when watching TV. I used to give plasma, so I'm getting paid. When I was poor, you get $30 for plasma. You sit there and just do the moves. You could do cardistry in one hand, cube in the other hand while you're watching TV. So it's basically you just practice it, and then eventually you'll get to a point where you're like, I could actually do these moves.
That's awesome.
Also, you really want to work on smoothness, whether it's going in the bag or behind the back. It's smooth is much more important than quick. If you're quick and you're struggling to do it, you'd much rather go slower because then it seems like nothing is happening.
Okay. F2L tips.
F2L flips. What is?
Or F2L tips.
Oh,
what that is?
This is getting a little advanced for a lot of the people. F2L tips. I will tell you this. So we could spend 20 minutes teaching some F2L flip tips. badmephisto.com. And then he has tons of YouTube videos. If you like the F2L tricks, go to Bad Mephisto. He has an F2L teaching page, and he'll teach it much better than I could teach it, and we could cover other stuff.
Okay.
Basically, you could learn it from there.
Yeah. Let's move on. I'm sure you don't want to cover the millisecond solve.
The millisecond?
No, that'll be.
I can
probably,
perform it real quick.
Okay.
This is a move that I came up with a few years ago, and there's a funny backstory in the sense of. I created this move, but I never performed it live. The very first time I performed it for people was on Penn and Teller Fool Us. So I made it up and then I did it. And it's a ungimmicked Rubik's Cube solve that looks like that. So.
It's freaking.
And that's
so
going to be on
angry.
the upcoming Cube DVD thing
There we go.
that we teach. So you know, that's going to be fun.
So confused right now. Anyway. Okay, so before we move on, okay, can you just really quick go over some false shuffles that you teach in Cube 3?
Yeah.
Ben Stone wants to know a better idea of the speed and the way that you do it.
Okay, so let me solve this real quick, sorry. This is me solving at full speed, though.
Just show off.
No, I have. Yeah.
I'm joking.
Okay. So this is my favorite false shuffle to use. If you actually watch America's Got Talent, this is the false shuffle that I use.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I use this multiple times on America's Got Talent, and I have more confusing false shuffles. This is probably my favorite false shuffle. That's a little bit, little much. But this is a false shuffle that I will use. And if you watch the first audition of America's Got Talent, this is what I do. So it's simple. I slow it down. You're not going crazy. And basically, here's the move. With the green facing towards you, yellow up, you're basically going to move the right 2 times. You're going to move the up side 2 times. And then you move the left side 2 times. And then you're just going to do that in reverse. So it's super, super simple. Left twice, up twice, right twice. And is that pretty simple, guys? Is that?
What's the algorithm for that?
R2, U2, L2, L2, U2, R2.
There you go.
Yeah.
L2,
But
R2.
basically, it's really, really simple. It's just the right twice, up twice, left twice. And then I pause. And then I do it. So in the performance, so this is, when I talked about the little, big, so this is outside and inside. So outside, inside, those 4 moves. I rotate it over. At this point, I would do the false shuffle, where basically from here, this is the right. It's now left for you, I think, but then up, left, pause for a little bit. At this point, I even could display the cubes, and it looks pretty mixed up. And at that point, you just do it in reverse, the left twice, up twice, right twice. And that's the false shuffle that I use most of all, just because it's simple. You're mixing it. I mean, when people see you mix up the cube, they think you're mixing it up. They don't think you're, doing something funny with it. So, and then you could even do it again if you want. And you do this while you talk and you're engaging people, so they're not focused just on the cube.
It just looks like you're mixing it up.
And then from there, you could do whatever solves you want to do. This is one of my favorite new ones that I do. Like that.
Boom. My mind.
That might also be on the new thing as well.
Yeah,
so,
that's awesome, man. Awesome.
We're teaching some, but there's
yes,
there's
we're teaching some.
I mean, a lot of this stuff is a little complicated that we couldn't teach it in those,
Right.
But.
Well, let's okay, so we learned some false shuffles, false, I guess it's mixes, false mixes.
And with the outside, inside, you could do, the applications are limitless in the sense of this little utility move. And it's more of a utility move than anything else, because there's a person on Instagram, he blows smoke on it. And while it's just covered in smoke in that split second, it's then solved.
It's crazy.
You could do it behind your back. You could do it in a bag. There's some really cool, some people even do this. I hate this idea, though, where you would shake then it's all, and that's cool, but my one issue is, I've seen people do it really well, is if someone spots even just one move of you doing it, it gives away everything.
Right.
It kind of ruins everything. But there are ideas where you would step, next to someone, or you get someone's attention for a split second, and you have a solved cube now.
Right.
So there's a lot of different ways. Carl Hein has some killer ideas as far as where you just look away for half a second and it's solved, or you give it to someone so you have a solved cube. Yeah. You give them the cube and then they open up and now it's solved.
That's cool.
So I would definitely recommend, if you learn these moves, just play around with all the different ideas and see what you could come up with.
That's awesome. Cool, man. Cool. Well, let's move on. Would it be cool if we move on to some card stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Let's do some card stuff. And yeah, if you guys have any requests for Steven, just
also any questions about like America's Got Talent,
Right.
or Fool Us, or any of like the the press stuff.
Well, actually, you know what? Let's talk about America's Got Talent really quick before we move on.
Yeah.
So you did Fool Us and America's Got Talent.
Yes.
You have no control of the final product.
Yeah, so I'll tell you this much. I mean, I don't want to talk too much about America's Got Talent because I do love the show. But it's definitely a reality TV show in the sense of it's not, everything you see on the screen is not actually what's happening a lot of times, where you might, they piece together the story that they want. I'll tell you this, basically when I filmed for them, they have 15 hours of my story. And one of the biggest things, I would say if you're trying to get into America's Got Talent, have a killer trick, make sure it's not a card trick or it's a really, really original piece. But also work on your story. I mean, look into yourself, write down everything you could think about. Because when they interview you, they're going to be like, tell us about yourself. What else? You know, they want something interesting. If you say, I am, you know, I'm a middle-class white American, I have a nice car, a nice apartment, that's
Right.
pretty good. You know, they're going to be like, you know, what's happening? They want, whether they want the sad stories or something miraculous, or you overcame cancer, or, you know, your parents had to raise you and you fought through poverty.
Right.
My story isn't that great, to be honest. I mean, I have an okay story. I was pigeon-toed. Had speech therapy, occupational therapy, but I am just a white guy.
Right.
And I had to dig in my past to think of everything that I could think about, whether it was, and then interviewing me, there's 15 hours of me talking about my depression. I talked about being an athlete. I talked about, you know, moving with my aunt, my mom, my struggle with my parents, you know, bullying, everything I could think of I covered.
Right. And they just pick.
And then what
whatever
you
they
have
want.
to realize for the show is they're going to take 15 hours of you talking about everything in your life, and they're going to be like, we like that aspect. And they're going to frame you out to how they want you to be, whether
Yeah.
it's like you're a nerd, and it might not be 100% true to yourself. It will be true, but it'll be a distorted version of the truth that everyone will see.
Yeah. When I did Wizard Wars, like I had to sign that piece of paper that was like, you know, we have control of everything, and regardless of how it turns out, like, you know, you have no say. So, and that's kind of like nerve-wracking because they could make you look like really bad or like really good. And
I mean,
stuff.
yeah,
But-
I mean, they have control. Obviously, when you sign something, it says you give up your life to they have control
Yeah.
over your image to the universe or something.
Right.
But overall, I mean, everyone asks how was the process, and it was fantastic. You go there, the producers are very helpful from what I've had so far. They want you to look good on camera. They don't want you to fail. You know, if you could look your best, they want America to really like you. With your story, you don't have to say anything that's not true. You know, everything that you say is up to you.
Right.
A lot of people say, "Oh, they made me look like a bad guy," and it's like, no, you did that on camera.
Right.
So, I mean, but overall, great experience. I recommend if you're interested in it, do it. I mean, the worst that could happen is you don't get aired, or maybe they frame you in a not so great light, but, you know, a year from now, no one's going to remember that.
Right.
Not one person is going to remember that you were on AGT for 10 seconds and you gave someone a stare down. The positives are, I mean, I could talk a little bit about that, about what's
Yeah.
happened so far.
I love that.
Yeah, I mean, just in the last week since my first 2 auditions aired, I've got probably close to 60, 70, 80 different gig requests around the country. And I've booked events in Chicago, Florida, California, Wisconsin, Oklahoma City, all across the U.S. And I used to travel before, but this is like now I have, you know, weeks where I have, you know, 15 shows in a row, 15 days of just shows.
Right. That's crazy.
So you get that at just immediate people just coming after you, especially with magic. You know, with the dancer, they can't. How do they hire a dancer? You know, you're going to come to the party and dance around.
Yeah.
Or, you know, there's different other, you know, it's hard to, but magician, it's like, wait, you could do magic for us. And it's like the perfect way to hire someone.
Right.
Also, like right away, you get a huge Twitter and Instagram follower boost. You have tens of thousands of more people tuning into you.
And you have to like update that all the time.
Keep up with all that. So it's basically just like a complete, you know, but with viralness, it is very, very fleeting. I've had 3 different viral video times where things were exploding, and you have 2 months to capitalize. You have an insane amount of media presence, and then after 2 months, no one cares. You know, you're the past. So in this day and age, getting a viral video, it's happening more and more. You know, you could think of at least 10 magicians who it's happened to in just in the last couple months, you know?
Yeah.
But the hard part is capitalizing. You want to, every moment you have with that viral video, you want to spread your reach out. You want to get as many gigs as possible. You want to get as much influence as possible, and you want to use it.
Right. And I did notice, like, there was a picture you posted on Facebook of, you know, one of the shows you're doing. Is it Back Home? Where you sold it out.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, you have a picture, you have a scene on, boom, boom, boom,
yeah.
boom, boom. And you're just going to need a longer, you know, poster because you're just appearing on everything.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Well, TV does lead to TV. I mean, if you do Fool Us, you're probably going to get a call to come to another TV show, and people watch that and whatnot. And a lot of the magicians who've done Fool Us, they're coming out this year, so definitely capitalize on that.
Right.
Before your episode comes out, get a press release ready. You know, send it out before it airs and also after it airs, and then try to get as much stuff as possible from it.
So you didn't make it through on America's Got Talent.
No.
If I had a
I'm the
picture of you
loser.
crying, I would have it on the TV right now.
I cried pretty hard.
Yeah. And that was legit tears.
Not state. No, they told me I didn't make it, and it was welling up inside of me, and I had the choice to either. I was on stage with Julia, the 60-year-old transgender comedian, lovely lady, you know, really, really nice. I love Julia. She's really, really nice. And they were like, one of us is going to go through, and I could either have held it in and just composed, or I could have built it up where either I won and I got so excited, or I lost and I let everything out. So I decided just for TV to have that emotional, I'm letting everything out right now, and I let it build up, and I just, you know.
And there's actually, I don't know if you guys have heard of this, but there's a petition to bring Steven back on America's Got Talent.
You want to talk about that in a second, but do the Skype call first?
We'll talk about that in a second, but we have a Skype call coming in. Red light. And Luke dancing.
Oh, what's up, Luke?
What's shaking, boys? How we doing?
What's up, man? How are you?
I am good. I'm enjoying the lecture. Good stuff so far, Mr. Brundage. Good stuff.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm actually the one, I don't know, did you see the message? I was the one asking, it was either George or one of the other guys, about the petition. I wanted to make sure that was brought up because I know that that's going on right now.
So we were just talking about that. Steven told me that so I'll tell everybody real quick. There's a petition to bring Steven back on America's Got Talent, and people can sign it. And if they want to sign it, where would they go?
Yeah, so it's through change.org, but basically go to my Facebook page, just go to Stephen Brundage on my Facebook page, and it's going to be one of the first things that pops up. And then you just click on the petition, you could sign it. It has like 2,500 signatures. Yeah. And the crazy part was, Luke, I didn't start it. Like, cool. You know, people started hashtagging Bring Stephen Back. They started this petition, so I decided why not go with it. So now I'm sharing it, but it wasn't my idea to have me back on the show, but people are fighting for it, so.
So if you guys are watching the lecture, take a screenshot and do hashtag Bring Stephen Back, and or just take a picture of Stephen, Bring Stephen Back.
Yeah, how are things, Luke? Though I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, no, everything's good. How long do we have to do this, though? I think that's the question. How long do you have until you can be brought back on the show?
Haven't until they bring me when they want to bring me. What are you asking?
I guess the petition. How long do you have to get these certain number of?
So if the petition goes through, like let's say.
Here's the cool part. Yeah, so I called some of the producers of America's Got Talent. And was like, hey, this petition has 2,000, and they were like, they were surprised because I don't think that's ever happened before. But they were like, that's pretty awesome. So I don't know. I know the live shows happen not this week, but they're next week. But there's multiple weeks of live shows. So I'm sure they could decide to have me back. You know, they do have wild card spots. I know that much. So they do have acts back. So I think this definitely might help my case.
All right. Well, let us know if there's anything we can do to help too, and everyone watching. Yeah, help. So it's good.
Awesome.
Thank you, man.
Awesome. Thanks, Luke. You're awesome.
See you guys.
See you, man.
Yep, keep it up.
Cool. I like Luke. Luke's awesome. So if you guys want to go sign the petition, go to Steven's Facebook page. I'm just scroll down. I'm sure you guys will see it. Click on it, sign it, and let's bring Steven back. But let's move on.
Do you want to actually, if I get brought back, do you want to see what I'm working on?
Yeah.
Do you guys want to see what?
Do we need people?
They could be there while this is happening, but I must warn you, this trick is not. I've never actually practiced it. Well, if they do have me back, I'll practice it more, ideally.
Yeah, let's bring Josiah. Josiah, can you come up here? I'm going to pretend to be one judge, and
Yeah, do you want to go? Yeah, you can. Yeah, sweet, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is perfect. Nice to meet you. Yeah.
Who am I?
What?
Can I be Mel B? No.
Why?
Like a
I'm just
Howie
checking.
Mandel.
I'm a Howie. Okay, never mind.
No, you
Go
no.
ahead.
You want to be Heidi or Melby?
I'll be a Melby.
You look like a Heidi though. Okay, you're
Heidi.
Heidi. You're Melby. So basically, if they do have me back, I might be doing this. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna do it,
Yeah.
but yeah, you guys get a little sneak peek. Oh snap!
Dun.
Okay, so first we'll start it with this Rubik's Cube, and we're going to use just your imaginations for this. If we take a look at that cube, I want to get in really, really close. I want you to see that there's no patterns on any of the sides of the cubes, that one side is not completely solved. You can actually see that it's genuinely mixed up, right? Mm-hmm. Perfect. We're going to start by placing the first Rubik's Cube in the bag, and we're going to start with Heidi first. Do you have a favorite color? It doesn't have to be a favorite color, but do you have a color that you want to use out of the Rubik's Cubes?
Yeah. Yellow.
Yellow? Okay, so we have yellow first selected, and then, actually, let me see. I can remember how to do this. I'm trying to, yeah, it doesn't make a difference, okay. It's bad to do this on stage, but basically, and then Melby, right? Can you also name a different color that we're gonna use?
White.
White? Okay, so we'll try it out. I want you to picture all the yellow stickers disappearing off your cube. Can you do that for me? Mm-hmm. Imagine there's no yellow stickers anymore. Good. I'm going to dump the first cube out. Here's my question. Are there any yellow stickers on that cube right now? On that side right there?
No.
You want to get in close? Are there any yellow stickers right there? And you said yellow, right?
Yeah.
Are there any yellow stickers there?
Nope.
There? There's now no yellow on the Rubik's Cube. And that's the one color you named because yellow is the only side solved.
Oh, man.
All right. And next we're going to do white. Watch. We're going to dump it out. I won't even touch it. I hope this works. Oh no. Shoot. I don't think this is going to work.
I don't know.
No, I don't think it's not going to
I
work.
want to change my color.
What? What's your color? Did you say blue?
Blue.
He said blue.
Well, actually, blue's my favorite color.
Yeah, he said blue. Check this out. On here, there's no blue stickers because the one side is blue.
Hey.
So that will hopefully work on America's Got Talent.
And it's live.
What?
It's live, right?
Oh, it is live.
Yeah, it is live.
This would be so funny if I screwed up. Everyone's like, bring
actually,
Steven back, and then we
Yeah.
just have a complete screw up. But that's the basic idea. That's my second time ever performing it.
Yeah.
But I think you guys get the idea of what it is.
That's awesome.
They're going to name the colors, and it's going to be those colors.
That's awesome. And you submit if let's say this past time you submitted 3 tricks. Is it 3 tricks?
Yeah, so you send them a million ideas and they basically approve you or decline you. But basically it's just you send in a lot of stuff and hopefully you get approved.
That's so good. That's so good. We can edit that.
Can we edit that
Yeah,
for
we'll
the
edit that.
It's fine. Leave it for now. That was just
leave it. Cool, man. Well, yeah, let's do you have some more?
Let me try that again.
Okay.
Name a color real quick.
Okay.
Someone name a color. Yellow to color. Quick. What? Red or orange? You guys decide. Red? Okay. Like that. You dump it out. Getting close for this. You said yelled at red, right? There's now no red on the cube. I think it was red.
It's ridiculous.
It worked. Yes. Yay.
Fudge. Dude, it's like you're teaching this stuff and I still
Learning at the same time.
Yeah, but it's like I'm learning, but it's like
I'm learning this Rubik's
can't
Cube at
put
the
the
same
stuff
time as well. Yeah.
together. Awesome. Well, let's see. You have some. Do you want to move on to the cards?
Yeah, we could do some card stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah, so before I got started in the Rubik's Cube stuff, my bread and butter was always sleight of hand with cards. That's what I was good at. That's what I loved doing, and it's just something that I really. That's what I did.
So you didn't start with cube stuff.
No, so I started with I saw the David Blaine specials, and I got super interested in the ambitious card, and I was like, how is he doing this? You watch him pop to the top, and you're like, your mind is blown. Because I was learning other tricks before, and I was like, how does he? So I basically learned how David Blaine did his tricks. And that, that's what, did you get started that way, same way? Yeah. Where you see David and he's doing these things. And they're simple things to us now, right? But when we saw them, our minds exploded.
Yeah.
At least for me,
Yeah, same here. So let's do it.
Yeah, so these are not magician foolers. These are not super some of them are some sleight of hand, but mostly sleight of hand. But basically, these are workers. Basically, if someone's paying me a lot of money to come to their event and they want to see a card trick, these are the card tricks that I do. So if you want to see what a guy who charges 4 figures, what they would want to do, I mean, what we're going to perform, it's this type of stuff.
And it gets good reactions.
Yeah. So I mean, when you book shows, you don't have to be the most skilled magician in the room. You have to be the smartest businessman in the room.
Right.
So I definitely recommend, if you want to do magic as a full-time living, learn your business. Buy every magic book you can about business. Read it, study restaurant magic, study stage magic, learn everything. You have to be good at your craft. You know, you can't be a bad magician. You have to make sure you have really good sleights and you're good at what you do. You have good presentations, but just learn the business side of things.
But don't quit your job to be a full-time magician.
No, do it if you want. If it's your passion and you want to work towards it, do it.
Yeah.
You know.
Awesome.
A bunch of people get
Yeah,
quit right
everybody's
now.
leaving.
But yeah, so this is something that I do all the time. Or basically, do you know what shuffle tracking is?
Yes.
So basically, you could shuffle the cards and keep track of certain cards in the deck. Right now, the 4 aces are at 11, 22, 27, and 35 in the pack. So do you mind holding out your finger like that for me? And I want you to reach inside. I'll let the camera see this as well. Take any card you want out. So that you could go further, but that's one you want.
Yeah.
That is card number 27. That is the Ace of Diamonds. Take a look. Show everyone. Ace of Diamonds.
What?
We're going to get the next ace towards the bottom of the
20.
deck. Watch close. The next ace on the bottom of the deck.
No.
Not yet, I know. You gave me that look, right? I want you to watch the 5 of clubs close. I'm going to just give the 5 just a little bit of a rub, like that. And we get the ace of clubs. The third ace, you touched and found the third ace, right? So I would go to a different person right now. I'm going to see if you're as lucky as her, or whoever touched the first one. So if you're as lucky as him, touch anyone you want.
This one.
I will tell you right away, you're even luckier than before, the other person. Yeah, I'm going to stand up so I can do this.
Dude, if that's ace.
You actually ended up touching the 6 of hearts. All right? And I didn't tell you that 6 were wild, right? 6s are the wild card today. I want you to watch the 6 of hearts. If I actually rub it on my arm.
Just showing off your watch, bro.
That, well, when clients see that too. That is now the Ace of Spades.
No.
All right? Isn't that insane? The craziest part was I never actually learned how to do that trick. That would have been awesome if I actually could do that. That'd be kind of cool, right, if I actually could change it. If I could actually take the card and rub it and change it, that actually might be real magic, the Ace of Spades.
Nice.
So that's a third ace. The last one, I'm going to have someone in the back select it. So someone in the back, since you're far away, instead of having you reach and touch a card like this, can you name any number between 10 and 20? Off the top of your head. Any number at all. 13. Do you want to change your mind, or are you happy with 13?
15.
15. He just changed his mind. He does that. So we'll use 15. People normally don't do that. But so we're going to cut up exactly 15 cards from the middle. And I know what 15 is by the weight of the cards. So watch close. Right about the middle. You can see it coming close. You can see that out of the middle. Dead center from the middle. This weighs exactly 15. Do you want to weigh it? You can count it instead. Count them down right here. One out loud for me.
15.
It weighs 15, yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
Exactly 15 cards down.
15.
From the middle should be the last card.
That's awesome. I like that a lot.
I love the ending. That's why
great.
I do that entire trick. But yeah, so that is one of my workhorses, and that's something, it's relatively simple to do. It's a simple premise to follow, but you just get great reactions. There's lots of reasons why I do all the different things in it as well.
Right.
So
that last phase fooled me.
Did it really?
Not the ace, but like not finding the ace, but exactly cutting off that.
Yeah. And then also, the nice part about it is you have the 4 aces, and magicians love 4 ace tricks.
Great, yeah.
So you could do Dr. Daly's routine. You could do a million routines, just from these 4 aces.
And what do you call this? What is this routine?
Oh, I don't know if I've ever. I always just, when I put it in my set list, I always just say cutting to the aces.
Okay.
Or ace tracking or something. Let's make up a name. We're gonna name it right now.
Brundaces.
Brundaces.
Brundage.
No.
Brundages.
Brundaces.
Brundages. Aces.
I don't know if I like that. Can you guys
Something simple to say.
come up with a name for me? but that's probably a trick already named. What? 4 aces.
Steven's aces. Yeah.
Steven's aces.
Sounds really good. Steven's ace.
We're just going to keep it as the 4 ace trick right now.
Brundage's ace.
I'm going to come up with a name, then we'll figure it out.
Aces Brundage's. Okay.
Brund aces, okay.
Let's learn
So
how
are we
to
going to
do it.
teach this?
Yeah. So,
Sweet.
Let's do it. Sorry.
Fantastic.
Let's
So
learn Brundage's ace.
what are people commenting? Are they?
No.
You think of a good name, comment what the name is for the trick. Okay, guys.
Ladies. Okay.
So the setup for the trick, you're going to start with the ace of clubs on top, ace of diamonds, ace of spades, and ace of hearts. And it could be really any order. That's the order that I remember. So you just have the clubs on top, diamonds, spades, and hearts in that order. They go right on top of the deck. And that is your setup. Super intense setup. You could call the cards if you want or whatever, but essentially you're classic forcing one of the first 4 cards. One of the things I love about the classic force, I mean, it is hard to do, but what I found is really cool is if you have 4 cards that you're trying to force and you hit one of them, it's a lot easier. You know, and it seems a little bit of a freer choice. So basically with the classic force.
And if they touch in between, you could say, do you want to go up?
But
one?
yeah,
You
that's
wanna
what
go
I
up two?
asked you,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. I was going to do it, but I was nervous.
That you were going to screw me up?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
See?
So
like with the riffle force that I taught, you're basically going to cut off and get your pinky break from here. A nice little thing that I like doing. You want to get a little closer for me? Look at that cat. Thank you for the. Also, we have Devon behind the camera, and then also George over there. Great guys. They're really awesome helping out. So give them a round of applause at home. And here as well. So with the pinky break, something that I really like doing with the classic force is I take the fingers and I just step the entire deck a little bit to the left. It doesn't have to be that much, but just that little step, you could let go of your pinky break and you start to spread. And all you have to do is notice that tiny little jog right here. I don't know who created this.
yeah,
it's something that you just do naturally.
If Greg was here,
he would know. But whoever did create it, I give you credit for this. But this is something that I just learned from doing it. You know,
Greg Wilson probably came up with this in 1980.
Right. So basically, as you spread along, you're going to say touch any card. All you have to do is keep your eye on that little break. It's going to stay there. It's not going to go anywhere. And you're going to keep on going and just say touch any card you want. And when they reach your fingers, now's the point where you get to here and you spread this. And those are the 4 aces. And if you practice that enough, they have any 4 choices. And you just have to remember the clubs, diamonds, spades, and hearts. If you remember that order, touch one. I know that he's touching the spade. So the moment he touches it, say you just now touched the ace of spade, card number 35 or 27, whichever one you want to say, take it out. They pull it out. It's going to be the ace of spades. From there, you're going to grab, you know where the ace of clubs is, and then just cut it back to the top. So if they touch the ace of clubs, you take it out, but basically that's a really, really easy way to force, one of the aces. From there, all you're going to do is you're going to grip the deck like that. You're going to do a slip.
So now the aces are.
Yeah, all 3 aces are now on top.
Are on top. Okay.
The ones that are left. Cool. And since you took the ace of spades out, now they're in this order: the clubs, diamonds, and hearts. Right. Now you're basically just going to grab the bottom card and top card, and you're going to squeeze them both down. And I think that's a slip cut or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And put it on top. So pretty simple. So basically, all you did now is the ace is now second from the bottom. And then I'll bring that ace back up to the top. So basically, you're going to say, I'm going to get the next ace to the bottom. You do that move and show the next ace is on bottom. You're going to show this around. People will now be like, oh, no, you're wrong. And you say, not yet. That you get a nice little laugh there sometimes. From there, all you're doing is earn an ace change. I'm not very good at it, but it's a pretty simple move. I'm great at it. You told me.
You're great.
Yeah,
I'm
fantastic
positive.
at the move.
Positive.
How in detail should we go? I mean, most people know this, right?
Yeah, you don't have to go into detail.
Okay, but basically you just do the earn an ace change. All you're doing is essentially you're going to move that card forward, and this is going to come back, and you're going to switch those cards. But you want your hand flat. When you turn your hand onto the deck, all that's going to happen is your pinky finger is just going to push the 3 of diamonds forward a little bit. So now you have that. Mm-hmm. So you come, push. The palm is going to steal the ace right there. And you're going to use this index finger to push the 3 square back. So now you have the ace in your palm. You can move it around, but from there, all I do is just wave my hand over. And now you get a nice little change.
Very nice.
And there's a million ways you can do it from there. A lot of people might come over top and then squeeze and have that. You come over, You get it here, and then you just let it slowly fade away. Change it. People think that hand has something. You just show it empty.
That's great.
Take the card. That's a second change.
And you're pivoting the deck down so they don't see.
Yeah, so you don't want them to see the 3. So you're going to do the change from there. From there, just pivot the deck down and just take the bottom card. That's very important. All these little things that you learn, you just do when performing that you don't realize you're doing.
Right.
So yeah, so you just turn, drop it. The third one, also at this point, if you want to get rid of the 3 because you don't want them to see the 3 if you flash, all you have to do is just, you could maybe cut the middle packet into the middle. Or, get rid of the bottom card, however you want to do that. But you have to make sure you retain the 2 top cards. So from here, you're going to get the next card by having them touch any card. So you're going to touch the next ace, and at this point, they can touch whatever card they want. All you're going to do is out-jog that card. Turn it a little bit towards the right, and then your middle finger is going to come and just lift up. And if you lift up, you just spin out. And that move takes a little practice. Most people, if you do the hot shot cut, you'll be good at that. But basically, you just get that card to fly out, and that's a nice little flourish. If you want to get a little wider, if you practice, you could get some really nice.
That's great.
And this almost, when people see this, that almost looks like it's some sort of floating trick.
Yeah.
It has the card just floating in the air, and then you catch it.
It's awesome.
So that's just a move to practice. You get it out. What do I do now? You're even luckier. So you say you're even luckier. Whatever card you turn over, you say, oh, you got the 5. The 5s are wild today. And that gets a laugh. And you say, now we're going to do the magic part. And this is a big thing. Obviously, for the camera, it doesn't work as well as if you're live in person. And it's all this big thing about the building the tension and letting the tension go and letting the laughter happen.
Right.
And you will get caught with this move when you first start learning. But basically, I'll show you the top change first real quick. Essentially, you're going to have the fingers lightly hold this card, the 5 of clubs, in the hand between the thumb and the index finger. And all that's happening is you're going to push this card forward. The hands are going to cross. This card comes above. And you're going to grab the bottom card with the index finger. And then the top card with the thumb. And you're just going to switch them. So it's just this little switching action of here to there. So.
And of course, you wouldn't want to perform that straight on like that.
Yeah, you don't want it to be here. You want to make sure that you're covered a little bit. So covered, the move looks like this,
And when you were doing it on the offbeat. Right?
Yeah, so I'll show you the specifics of it. So basically, the ace is here that you want to get. And then to bring the tension in, you say, watch the 5. If you rub it here on your arm or do whatever to it, really slow down and really build the anticipation and say, this is now the ace of diamonds. And really believe yourself. Say, this is the ace of diamonds. People will say no, because this change right here, if that change, that's freaking powerful. There's no misdirection there. You say, that is now the ace of diamonds. Believe it, and then say, the coolest part is, I never actually learned that trick. At that point, everyone should be laughing. If they're not laughing, maybe they're a shitty audience or you didn't time your joke right.
Right.
It's, there's lots of different reasons why stuff doesn't work sometimes, but you turn it over, they will begin laughing. When everyone's laughing, they look up, they look at each other. You could even do this. But what I do is, that would have been awesome. I never learned that. That would have been really cool. You point at them and then you just relax back and then do your top change. And then the moment the top change happens, so you say, that would have been really cool. I never actually learned how to do that. That would have been cool. Then you bring everyone in again. Come close. I grab my hand. I bring the spectators in with this left hand. So this deck is out of play now. Watch really close. And then it changes. So there's a million people talk about the, doing the move on the offbeat or relaxation. That's pretty basic knowledge to magicians. But if you don't know about that, I would study it up.
Right. Awesome.
So next ace, and now we get to the fun part. This is the move that I love. What's that one guy's book? Like From a Shuffle Deck in Use? Fazdu? Paul Cummings.
Paul Cummings, yeah.
Yeah, so this is a variation on one of Paul Cummings' things that I loved, and I came up with this trick a while ago, and I love it to death. So essentially, you have the aces second to the top, and I just double undercut that. So, or you just move the 2 cards to the bottom. But should I cover the double undercut, or do they know?
No. You're fine.
They know. So get those 2 cards to the bottom anyway. You can. A really easy way to do that is just shuffle 1, shuffle the second card, and just shuffle on. Mm-hmm. There's 10,000 ways you can do that. You have the card on bottom. At this point, you have the option of picking counting 10 to 20 cards, which I sometimes do for magicians, where I'll sit there and you'll go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, name another number.
4.
No, 10,
I'm
20.
sorry.
14?
Okay, 14.
14, and then you do, and done. So that's 14 cards. And that's a fun way to really show off, to be
Right.
like, I can pick out 14 cards. But
Right.
much easier way to do it, which I really love. You point to someone in the back. And then the reason that you're pointing to them to have them name a number is now they're not going to take the cards. You gesture to them. Instead of having you touch a card, you're going to go 3, getting close for this. 3, 3, 3. So you have 9 cards total. And now you're going to get a break on those 9 cards. So I call to the person, hey, instead of having you touch a card, since you're so far away, name any number from 10 to 20. And at that time, I get my break under 9 cards.
Right.
So name your number.
13.
13. So you have a break under 9 cards, whatever number they say. So if they say 13, you're going to get rid of the first digit, get rid of the 1 in front of that, and then just count 3 cards. If they say 16, you're going to count 6 cards. If they say 10, say, I said between 10 and 20, or whatever.
Right.
If they say 19, you're going to count 9 cards, 18, 8 cards, simple. And essentially, you're going to count them with your pinky. So do you want to get in? There's a ton of really good DVDs. Jason England has a great DVD on the pinky count, so I recommend checking that out. But I'll show you without the 9 cards on top. Essentially, you want to get pressure on the left side of the deck. Your pinky finger is basically going to go on the side of the deck and it's going to start counting. And then a really easy way to do it in pattern. So if someone says 6, instead of doing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in your head, all you have to do is just 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
But you're going to make sure you have the 9 cards on top. This makes the pinky count a little bit harder, From there, you basically want to just pinky count the number they said. So if they say 14, as your hands are down by your side and you're talking, and they say, what number did you say?
14.
You said, and then you changed your mind. So I counted to whatever you said, and I added some cards as well. But if they say 14, the natural action would be this. You get your break under 9. Name any number you not want from 1 to 10. You get a wide shot so everyone could see the body movement.
15.
15. Are you happy with 15?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. Hold out your hand. And that's the 15 right there. So you basically want to create enough time. If they say 19, what I would do is this. I'm at 15 now. I would say 19, that's the hardest one to do. At that point, I'm 3 in. Do you mind holding your hand up for me? That's another 3. We're going to try this. Everyone watch close. So you basically just create enough
time.
Whatever you have to say to get your cards is what you want to do. So we'll do another example. There's 9. Can you name any number you want for me?
17.
17. Do you mind coming closer for me? Hold out your hand. No, you're fine there. Don't worry. And then now I'm at 19. I mean 17, but I just did that. I'm making enough stuff on the fly. So I'm at 17 now. So I basically just counted 7. I have 9, then added 7 to it, which is still 1 less than the number they said.
Right.
But now here comes the fun part. The last ace is on the bottom. This is all you're doing. You're going to get your break, whatever number you're 1 less than the number they said. You're just going to push all that forward. And then I think this is like a milk shuffle or something, where basically your pad of this left hand is going to steal the bottom card as you come off, and then just cut the cards. So you just stole added the bottom card to your packet of 17 cards or whatever it is, and then just get a pinky break from there.
That's great.
Like that. And I think I'm trying to think of the talking action that I do. So I'm here, and I said 17. I want you to watch close. I'm going to cut off exactly 17 cards from the middle of the deck. So at that point, I'm kind of just, as I'm talking, I'm going to cut off the number you said from the middle of the deck. So as I'm telling that is when I do the moves. Now here's where, so you have your pinky break under the 17, the number that he said. You're going to transfer that to your thumb, like that. And you're going to swing cut half of the deck above. I'll do it from this angle. So your pinky break is on the other side. Switch that to your thumb, so it's just in the back. Like that. Swing cut half the deck, drop the cards, the number that they said, so that's 17 cards, forward, and then just slide this back. So now you pull that 17 from the middle.
That's great.
So I'll do it at speed. So we have the 17 cards here, swing cut, drop, pull from the middle. And at that point, they could count the cards Yeah, so when they count 17, bam, get the ace.
It's awesome.
Ta-da.
It's great. Some people said ace cubed.
Ace, is that the name of this trick? Oh,
Yeah.
or what?
Yeah, the name of the trick. Ace cubed, cut to the chase. Like, ace.
Am I going too
Get it?
long? Is that what you're saying?
No, like,
Yeah.
and then call it cut to the chase. Yeah, that's about it. Nice, man. So you used to busk.
Oh, yes, I used to be. I guess I'm still a busker.
Yeah.
I've only busked once this year.
Ben Stone wants you to talk about your busking experience.
Yeah. So any specific questions as far as busking goes? Because I could talk about busking for 10 hours straight.
Well, where did you go busk?
So I busk in my hometown, Saratoga Springs. Busking is pretty limited in where you can busk and then what you could do, because with my town, it is a sidewalk, so you can't do giant shows. Money is very limited to how many shows you can do. If you're limited by your space, it's basically how many shows can you do. Once you reach how good you get and how much money you could get per show, it becomes a numbers game.
Ben, I believe it was Ben Stone, was asking about tips would you give to somebody that wants to busk?
So I would highly recommend busking. Before I did busking, I was a horrible magician. When I started busking, I became at least halfway decent. I'm still working on becoming good. Hopefully with time I'll be a good performer. But basically with busking, before I always did card tricks at my college. I would walk around, I'd do card tricks. But with busking, you learn how to actually do a show. You have to stop people that you've never met them before. You have to stop them, get their attention. You have to then get their money. You have to make sure they stay for the entire thing. So your show gets really good really fast. Your 15 and 20 minutes gets, extremely good for the street. If you could stop them, entertain them, get all their money, send them on their way, keep them happy, that's really tough to do.
And then you figure out how to get out of certain situations. Like I think one of the things that I am good at as a performer is when people try to mess me up, I know how to get out of those situations.
Absolutely.
And that's just from, I never bust, but I would go
Just
to
doing
bars
it a lot,
and perform.
right?
Yeah, just doing
Well,
stuff a lot.
that's the thing about busking. You do your routine,
over and over and over.
You do it 10 times. There's no other place where you could do an act 10 times in a row, do a trick 10 times for a giant audience of people. So as far as with busking, I highly recommend finding a place. Your first day will be so nerve-wracking. You're not going to make any money the first couple weeks. You might make a few $100, but as far as busking goes, that's not very good.
Now, would you do cube stuff?
So when I first started busking, I just did card tricks. I went out on the street and I just did simple card tricks. And eventually, doing it enough, I had a set. You want to make sure you have a set trick. You want to do these 3 tricks over and over. You don't want to start switching it up if you want a good busking show. But for me, I just started doing card tricks and eventually developed where I did like a triumph and then the card change. And I had this weird, cool kind of card set. I kind of liked it.
Right.
People were really entertained because I was decent with sleight of hand and it was pretty nice magic. Right. And everyone said, oh, you have a cube there. What do you do with that? And I said, I just solve it fast. It's not a trick. And then eventually I realized people would just watch me solve the cube. Just solving it normally. Then I added a magic trick in there and people reacted really, really well.
It's different because cubes,
it's not a card trick.
If anyone looks at a cube, I just instantly think that that's really, really difficult.
Yeah.
And the fact that you can do magic with a cube that's examinable, I think it just makes it that much.
Garrett Thomas also said something that everyone relates to a Rubik's Cube. Like if you walk to the table with this, they instantly know what this prop is. It's different from pack of cards, but they see it and they're like, that's it's something, it's new, but it's so familiar to them.
Yeah.
But as far as that, I just started doing the cube magic and people really, and I did it for magicians and magicians freaked out. I had my first convention, I went and I did a simple, stupid, it was horrible at the time, but I did it. And they started bringing me around to all their friends, like, oh, show this guy. Well-known magicians were like, this kid is awesome, do this. And I was like, people really like this.
I remember being at Magic Live and I saw, this is before I knew you, but I saw Garrett Thomas do something with the cube. And I don't know if it was gimmick cube or non-gimmick. He never told me how it was done. But I remember just being like fascinated with that. And then we ended up doing your DVD and I was like, man, I have to get that. I have to know how to do that.
People find it very, and I never set out to be like the cube guy. I never said, oh, I'm going to be known for, every magician's going to know me for the Rubik's Cube. But it just, it's something as a kid, I always just did it for the fun of it. I've spent over 10,000 hours just solving the damn thing over and over and over again. So when it started, becoming known for it, I just kind of went with the flow of it. Obviously, in my magic show, I do tons of other magic. I do card magic, I do mentalism, I do all these things. But whenever someone wants me to do TV show,
Boom. Visual. Cool, man. Is there anything else you want to teach as far as cube stuff? Or did we cover about
I mean, we covered a good amount
a
of
good
it.
amount? Any other advice that you would like to give anybody else? Words of wisdom?
Oh, this is interesting.
We're just
any
about-
questions? Any questions from you guys at all? Anything I touched on that you want me to touch on a little more?
Yeah, more on Foolish. How was the experience on that?
Oh yeah. So as far as
So
with
Kyle-
some of the TV stuff, there's
Can you say what he said?
yeah. So Kyle said as far as Fool Us, touch us more on the experience of Fool Us. And Fool Us and AGT were very, very separate experiences. If you ever, I'm sure maybe even some of you have submitted to Fool Us, if you ever get the chance, do it. They fly you out to Vegas. It's like almost like a mini magic convention. You're out there with 20 other magicians. You're hanging out, having a good time. They treat you very well. You have meals every day at the Rio buffet.
And how long are you out there for?
I think it's a week or
a week.
maybe a couple, 5 days, 3
Oh,
days.
okay.
I don't know. It's as long as, I extended my trip a little bit. But basically their goal is you look really good on TV. If you fool them, that's a bonus, but they want you to have a killer magic segment that you could book events from, that you could share to all your friends. But absolutely fantastic show. The process was a lot of fun to do. When I first did it, my thing was like, oh, I'll just get a really good TV spot. And then Garrett Thomas said, it's called Fool Us. And my goal then just became to fool the pants off of Penn and Teller. So if you do it, I would go in the mindset, try to fool them. If not, just get a great TV spot.
Did you have any interaction with them after you?
Yeah, so the prize was I got to close their show in Vegas, and I got to spend a good 4 hours just hanging out with them and talking to them. And they were some of the most genuine people.
Oh, yeah.
I asked them at least 100 questions, and they answered everything I asked. They covered it, talked to me.
That's
They
awesome.
were present in the room with me. I know a lot of performers where they'll like, oh, nice to
Separate
meet
themselves.
you. They don't really care, but these
Yeah.
guys genuinely were interested, which was kind of cool.
Yeah, really nice guys. When I was doing Wizard Wars, I was outside and Teller came, and he just started talking to me. And it was so weird. And
Right.
he used to be a Latin teacher,
Uh-huh.
so he saw my tattoo, and he started telling me the meaning
Yeah.
of my tattoo and the history of it. And I'm like, are you serious? This is crazy. Super smart. Both of them are really, really smart guys, and stuff. So, well, awesome, man. Thank you so much for coming in to do the lecture and teaching, cube stuff, some card stuff. And is there anything else that you want to touch base? There was one person that asked what kind of oil, how do you oil your cube, maintenance
so
for cubes.
when you order, you want to get silicone oil.
Silicone
and that
oil.
is the best stuff for the cube. You put it in the cube and it fixes it all up. But it's called silicone oil. You get different weights. Or Traxxas oil on Amazon is $5.
Okay.
There's different weights, which is the viscosity of the lube. But anything you get will work fine, will work wonders. Just get it, pop a tiny bit in, move the cube around, and that's really going to
Awesome.
help out.
Awesome. So,
We can talk more too. I'm fine just chatting.
Okay. Yeah. We also talked about your upcoming DVD.
Mm-hmm.
There were some people that joined late, and they were asking are you doing any new products?
Mm-hmm.
I think you're after AGT if they have you back. You would be working on a new product.
Yeah, I
the
think
cube.
that I would love to do more cube magic stuff. Obviously, my main focus right now is AGT and me coming back. I think the chance of me coming back is very, very high. I might have some insider information. It's not official that I'm back yet. Obviously, we have to get approval. But if you tune in August 2nd, I think I might be back for the wild cards.
There we go.
So
And yeah, the routine that he showed earlier.
the one that
that's
I
a really
screwed
good
up.
Whatever.
Yeah.
That's really good. It's even fun. We're hanging out yesterday and we're just talking about different things that you could do, and that was fun.
I could talk a little more about the AGT ideas. I talked a little bit as far as when you're submitting to it. You want to try to find an original thing. But here's the thing with America's Got Talent. Every trick you could think of has been done on the show before. So you could come up with 4 of the coolest ideas you think of. You pitch them, they're going to be like, oh, that idea we had on season 3, that idea was on season 9, that idea was on season 8, maybe that. So the problem is trying to find tricks that you have to pitch them in a way that they think are brand new. Because there's been tricks that they allow on the show that have been done before, but it's all about trying to find a way that they say yes to it. So you have to be really creative in how you pitch them.
Yeah,
really
for example,
brainstorm.
like the bill change has been done a
a
bunch
million
of times.
times. Someone did it on Britain's Got Talent.
Yeah, and then
Last-
somebody did it with like the judges having pictures of all
And
the
that
judges.
was the little change. Instead of
Right.
just doing Bill's change, it's like now the judges are on it, and it became
different
something
somehow.
a little bit different.
Yeah.
Even though it wasn't that, still just Bill change.
Right. So somebody also is asking any recommendations on starting to do corporate gigs. Like if you want to go into the corporate world, do you have any recommendation?
Yeah. So from my understanding, I'm not an expert. I've only been a full-time magician for 2.5, 3 years, so I'm relatively new to this game. But obviously, being thrown in, I've learned a lot. There's different levels of corporate. You have the very, very base corporate, which what I'd say anywhere is from 200 to 500. And they're just looking for a walk-around magician. You know what I mean? For an hour, they just want someone who's okay at card tricks. Between the 200, $300 to $500 range. And then you have the mid-level. This is mid-level low corporate, which will be, where it's I would say 500 for 1 hour, 600 for 2 hours, or 700, then 800 for 3 hours.
Right.
Then you have mid-level, which would be 1,000 to 1,500. Then you have mid to high, which I would say is 15 to about 3,000. Maybe 5,000 is more higher end.
Right.
But then you have the high end corporate, which is I would say from 5,000, 3,000 to probably 1,500 or 10,000.
Right.
That's where you get some of the bigger players. And everyone, the thing is, the price doesn't mean how good you are. Like I was, even just 2 years ago, I was charging $800 for a show, $500 for a show sometimes. And, I'm doing a lot of the same tricks. Obviously, I'm a better performer now. But still, you could have had me for $500 before.
Right.
So it's all just trying to find, when getting into it, I recommend just getting you want to get your feet wet. You don't want to start charging way too much. Start quoting $300 and just hand out your business cards everywhere. Start street performing, hand out your business cards there. I would definitely even go Gig Masters, Gig Salad. Obviously, a lot of the full-time performers don't even like that stuff, but for getting the $300 gigs, make a simple profile. Everyone who has just quote them $300, get some good promo photos done, and then just slowly start building it up.
Right. Get a website.
Yes.
Yeah.
The most important thing you could do right now is make your website, and you could do it for like $10. Go to Squarespace. If you go to my website, Stephen Brundage Magic, that's all Squarespace. I didn't pay a designer. I just basically popped the pictures in myself. But basically, just take 5 days. And every single day, spend 8 hours getting your pictures together, making your website, selling yourself to your clients' needs, and basically just start trying to get people to that website.
Right.
And then it's going to be slow at first. Obviously, you're going to book a gig here, and then over time, it could turn into something.
So he said 2.5 to 3 years. How long have you been doing magic?
I've been doing magic for about, I started when I was young, like 5 or 6. Even then I got a book, Nicholas Einhorn's Encyclopedia of Magic. And I just started learning some basic card tricks. Some of them are still pretty good, but I just did card tricks, and I just kept on doing it year after year. So I've been doing it for a good probably 20 years of doing some magic. I would say serious for the past 13 years, where I started getting into David Blaine stuff. The last maybe like 10 years probably.
Right.
And then really, really serious the last probably 4 years. I've started going to conventions, and I've started to, be well known the last 2.5 years, which is weird because I was just a kid a couple years ago watching all these performers, and you like look up to these people like they're amazing,
it's crazy.
but they're just normal people.
It's been, really cool seeing, you come in, what was it, last year, and doing Cube 3 and just seeing like, you grow as a performer, and getting all these shows, going on TV, success of Cube 3 and stuff. And I really appreciate you coming here and doing a lecture and talking to everybody about some Cube stuff and giving advice and stuff. So any closing?
Yeah, I would say, I know I have so many kids say, "Oh, I want to do magic as a career and whatnot." Me deciding to make magic my full-time job was the best decision I've ever made in my entire life. Just because it's something you're really passionate about, and if you love what you do, you'll be happy every day of your life. I mean, obviously you have to work hard, and there's some struggle involved with it. But I mean, you look at some of the people who go to their corporate job and they live for the weekend and they live till they're done with their job. Where me, I live for my job.
Right.
I live for the moment that someone hires me for a show that I get to fly across the country to do.
Yeah, it's fun.
So if you, whether it's magic or something else, I would say just really follow whatever you really, really love. And if magic is just a hobby for you, enjoy your hobby. Enjoy it for what it is. But if you do want to make magic a full-time career, it is completely possible. I started booking, my first ever show was a show for GE, but they only paid me $300. And I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I just slowly kept on trucking through, kept on working. And obviously, everyone's not going to get as lucky as I get. You're not going to have a viral video, then be invited on TV show after TV show. That's kind of, very, very lucky.
Yeah, it's hard work,
But if you start charging $500, maybe $800, you keep on working. One really cool thing, a lady called me for a show in Atlanta. So she calls me up, I saw you at my friend's birthday party. I have a corporate show in Atlanta. So I quoted her, I think I originally 3,000, but then we worked that down to 2,500. And I was like, yeah, that's great. And then this was right after all the viral video, and I was on Good Morning America and Steve Harvey show and a couple other shows, and I found out that she never heard that I was on Good Morning America or Steve Harvey. The only reason I quoted her so much was because I just came off of all these TV shows.
Right.
Normally I was quoting in the $1,000 range, but she was like, yeah, great, we'll book you. And then my mind kind of said, she booked me for over $2,000 and she didn't know I was on TV. So the kind of thought kind of hit me like, you don't have to be on TV to make a lot of money doing magic. You just have to be confident and really work towards what your goals.
Right.
So.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, man.
Thank
for
you.
coming
That
in.
was fun.
Thank you guys for coming and seeing Steven do his first lecture ever. I hope you guys had a great time. I had fun. I hope you had fun.
Yeah.
And if they want to get in touch with you, how would they get in touch with you?
Yeah, so if you want to get in touch, you could follow my Instagram or my Snapchat or Twitter. They're just Brundage Magic. Or my Facebook, Steven Brundage Magic. If you guys have any questions, just, tag me in your post and I'll respond to you guys.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much, and we will see you guys next time at the table.
All right, thanks for getting him warmed up. I know he can't do it by himself.
Good to see you, man. How's everything?
Here's a really abrupt segue. Here's the bottom line. Steve and I were just talking numbers about what he makes on college circuits, on corporate, doing corporate events. He was getting very specific, and I said, do you mind if we put that on video? And he says, bring it on. So I still don't know why you're willing to share and be so revelatory, but let's talk details. So if you do it's all supply and demand. You're in huge demand right now. People have seen you on Fool Us and YouTube and obviously on AGT. How many times on AGT now?
Twice. It's the first 2 auditions.
You're invited back for a third one now?
Not officially yet.
Okay, so this won't show for a little while, okay. But you got through the
So second round, the judges say, no, you're not making it, but they have a wild card spot. So
we'll just leave it wild.
Yeah.
We'll leave it wild. Spot, yeah. Okay. So that's a little emotional roller coaster probably for you and for the audience.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I get all the sympathy points now. Everyone's like, we want you back, Steve. And, they're going to get me back.
Brilliant. So what kind of money, I just don't want to be so crass and abrupt, but if you're doing a college circuit, it's probably, I'm guessing, $2,500 to $5,000 maybe, or maybe more?
Yeah, I mean, obviously every performer is different. I've talked to some people where a lot of people will come off of TV stuff and they start quoting like $10,000, which is, that's a decent amount of change for just one gig.
You probably just want to work a lot.
Yeah, and the thing is, I know they'll get that for a while, but with TV stuff, you'll get it, and then all of a sudden, a year later, it fades. Or you might book a bunch of events. You might book, 10, 15 events for that $10,000, but then after that, where is it going to come from? So my thing right now is just to do as many events of these as possible. Just continue working as much as possible.
And if you're known as the $10,000 magician and you lose your notoriety,
yeah.
what are you going to settle for $2,500
And then
now?
he's like, oh, he's coming down. What happened to him? That's what they think.
Exactly. So corporate events about the same. I think
Yeah,
you'd
I
get
mean-
probably twice that, couldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, so right now every event that comes in, I'm trying to quote usually 3,000 local, 5,000 travel, and I've been getting that a lot. But obviously, if a client doesn't have that exact budget, some of the great ways to come down. I mean, you could offer them a $500 discount, but just have an out clause in your contract. So basically, they say, "Oh, only have 2,500." I say, "You know what? I'll do it for the 2,500, but in case a bigger event comes in, and they're going to pay me 5,000 for the event, I'll come and do your event, but I have to leave, but I'll find a replacement magician first." So you put that in your contract.
And it's better than nothing.
Yeah, so if no one else hires you, you're making some money. You know,
Yeah.
you could even come down to even 1,000 if you want. If you want to just work a lot, and that way, if someone does pay your full rate, you have a way to.
So judging by your watch, I'm sure you just like nice things.
I do like nice things a lot.
So you do what you can to work a lot. And here's the best part about it for me. You also get experience. Why be the $10,000 to $15,000 guy when you can be the $5,000 to $7,500 guy? Work a lot, get lots of experience, have fun, and here's the best part about it for me. You're a walking, talking billboard for the next show.
Yep.
Because one show breeds another
So
show.
my thing was, I did Good Morning America a year and a half ago, and I tripped my rates overnight. So I went from about 500, 800 to about, I would say 15 and above. And I started to make a fantastic living. I made more than I ever could imagine, tripled my income in a year. But I wasn't working as many shows. I always said I want to do more shows. Now this is my chance with America's Got Talent, and I don't want to price myself out where I want to continue doing as many shows as possible, and then just really just get my experience. Because you've been doing magic for how many years?
If it's
Full time.
if it's a magician, 38 years.
So 30.
But if it's a young, cute girl in her 20s, 5 years.
Okay. But so you've been doing
But
it for-
professionally only since '93. So
But how many years is that?
23.
That's a lot. So you have 23 years of doing it. I have 3 years of full time.
And you've got 10 times the exposure.
But here's the thing, though. But I don't have the experience. So my thing is, I always wanted the experience. So I just want to do as many shows as possible, so I could get that experience that you have. And for me to charge two of a higher rate, so I'm not working as much as I want. That's not good right now.
You got to find that balance.
Yep.
And I think you're doing it.
So-
So tell me about, would you want to win?
Like the Vegas show.
Yeah,
thing,
because
or-
if you do win, there's a double-edged sword. I'm sure you've already thought that
I've
through.
heard both sides of it. Obviously, you win. I mean, that's a good chunk of money. Obviously, NBC might own you. You might have to do some of their tours and whatnot. But my thing is, for me, magic was always about I really want to make a good living doing what I love doing. And that's like the end goal. So whether that is a Vegas show, whether it's doing trade shows, whether it's even doing weddings or even birthday parties, it's whatever, doing magic, anything I can do and make a good living, I'd be happy with.
Let me
That's
ask
how
you
much I
this.
love it.
Are people recognizing you anywhere and everywhere?
It's a little bit crazy. I went out to a bar and I think I had 80 to 100 people approach me in one night
Without a cube in your hand?
with no cue. I know at that point when people approach you, they want you to magic. Like, just watch it on TV next week. I don't actually say it to them, but they
Well,
kinda
yeah,
see
you don't.
it,
They don't really want to see you do stuff
They
now.
just
They just
wanna
want to
just
be
talk to
in
me,
your
yeah.
in your aura. I'll tell you something funny that happened. I was working on the shell about when did your YouTube clip come on?
Which one?
The one to get out of a speeding ticket.
December 2014.
Right around that time, I was finalizing and perfecting the quintessential design to have this flawless shell. I was at a place in Vegas working at a metal shop, trying to get these guys to look at everything. I just had the cube in my hand. I didn't do anything. And they go, why they would ever say this? Aren't you that guy on YouTube?
Well, then you said, "Of course I am."
Of course I am. Watch me do my fake one-handed behind the back without looking move.
funny.
I heard it probably 5 times in 2 days.
Yeah.
I could only imagine. I didn't know you then.
Yeah.
I could only imagine how much you were approached.
It's insane. Well, the funniest part is, for those that don't know the speed, I talked about it in the lecture before, so they know
Okay.
about the speeding ticket. But I would have some people come like, oh, you do the cube. There was this one guy, he fooled Penn and Teller with the cube, and he was
Or he was good as that guy.
And they're like, oh, he was on Steve Harvey and all these shows, and I thought he was just like mocking me. You know, I thought he actually knew who I was, and he was kind of just, you know, drunk and mocking me. He actually didn't recognize me. But
So
he was
people think
talking about
I'm
this
you,
one guy.
and they don't think you are you.
No, yeah, they just recognize the key. But now, AGT, it's even more recognized since they see my face now, my name. It's definitely a lot though.
Now, are you enjoying it, or is just part and parcel? Is it?
It was kind of interesting at first. So you go out to bar. I go out a lot. I'm a regular at a lot of my local bars. And I'm out. I'm trying to have a few drinks, and I got approached by 80 people. And at first, it was
As long
cool,
as 79 of them are women.
right? But the thing is, after like you get to like the 40 people start talking to you, you try to be. My thing is, I love connecting. I love being genuine. If I'm having a conversation, I really want to be present. But after the 50th time, it was really, really hard for me to stay super present as I wanted to be. I'm from their perspective, I was probably pretty engaging, but I didn't feel it inside.
Because it's the same questions, probably.
Same question, same exact answer. So I kept them saying thank you, but it kept them feeling less and less genuine.
Thank you. That's very kind of you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, wait till you see me next week.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
And then I was talking to one of my friends in Vegas, and I was telling him my problems, my first world problems. Like, too many people are coming up to me saying I'm awesome. And he's like, if you ever come to Vegas, do not tell any of the performers that, because that's all they want.
That's all they want.
They just want to bask in.
You know
people
what? All
coming
these
up to them.
Victoria's Secret models are coming up to me, grabbing me,
Right.
pulling me, tug of war. It's insane. I can't handle all that
So
attention.
I've kind of like focused it down, and I kind of, I just have to deal with it and suck it up and just, be happy with it.
I'll tell you, on a micro comparative level, I got that from a show that I did, Wizard Wars.
Yeah.
Only in airports. That's the funny part. I don't know why. Are people more hyper aware and observational in airports? This one kid is my favorite one. That's why I bring up this story. So a kid's about 10 feet behind me. I could just hear him. He goes, "Hey, mister." Yeah, he can't be talking about me. He says it again. "Hey, mister." I turn back. He looks at me. He goes, "Are you a wizard?" It was friggin' hysterical. I don't remember what I said to him, but so I've got 10-year-old boys following me, and you've got hot ultimate vixens in their most intimate erotic poses in bars. So congratulations on that. I wish you more and more success. It seems like these things are these, let me ask you this, are these things falling in your lap? Is opportunity knocking, or you're doing the knocking yourself?
It is a good mixture of both. So like with the cop video, I definitely took the initiative. Like everyone's like, "Oh, you got lucky, you got a viral video," but I literally asked the cops to step out of the car. I asked them to record twice. I gave him my phone. I edited this part out, but I actually told the officer, "Can you step to the side for the lighting?" And I said those exact words. I pushed him to the side.
Brilliant.
The lighting came in. So that
Can
was,
you walk this white line?
Yeah, and that was me genuinely being like, this is a moment. They asked to do a trick, and it wasn't a setup trick. The cops weren't paid. It was actually happening at the moment, but I decided, like, this is
your
the time
limelight
to record. And then the moment the video clicked done in my head, I mean, I called my girlfriend right after, my ex-girlfriend now, but I said, I have a viral video. If the lighting is good, the video will go viral. And I said that not because I thought, oh, I'm this great performer.
No, you
It was
sense.
the situation. It was cops were in the media. All this stuff lined up.
And there's a positive experience of cops in the media.
That's the thing, the story with it. So I posted it. Magician gets out a speeding ticket. I spun it. I then took the effort to post it everywhere. From there, it kind of spiraled from there, and it was just kind of to keep up with all the media flow. And what I found is TV leads to TV. Fool Us found me because I was on TV before and all the other stuff, and then America's Got Talent found me on Fool Us. But then I had to take the initiative to let me do the show, let me get my ideas ready, plan it out, and really just work hard towards it. And even now, it's just, keeping up with everything, taking advantage of every opportunity.
Who knows what's going to come next? That's the beautiful part. So
Yeah.
I like what Gary Player, the golfer, says. The more I play, the luckier I get.
Yeah, that's the
So
thing.
you put yourself in that position, take advantage of preparation and time.
But there's definitely a lot of things just kind of fell into place, and it was very, I don't have the connection to get on Good Morning America and do all these TV shows and all these, I'm creating them now and I'm taking advantage of them, so I have a lot of the connections now. So now when opportunities come in, I could take advantage a little easier now.
Now, would you, for example, be proactive and go to the Tonight Show now and say, look at my footage,
I called my mom a couple months ago and was like, I'm going to get on the Tonight Show, and I told her that.
You told her before they asked you.
Well, I'm not even on the Tonight Show.
No, I mean, you said as a prediction, I'm going on the Tonight Show.
I absolutely told her. So, and that was me realizing with America's Got Talent that NBC, Today Show, a lot of times they have these finalists on these type of shows. Even with Penn and Teller Fool Us, before I even filmed with Penn and Teller Fool Us, before they even decided yes on me, I called all my family and said, I'm going to be on Penn and Teller Fool Us. And that was just me being so assertive and so confident and so driven that I'm going to do it no matter what. And same thing with AGT.
I got a question about that, by the way. I completely disagreed with Howie when he said you don't have showmanship. He doesn't get. I'm very curious what your response to that is, or you just say, that's just his opinion.
I mean,
because look at Stephen Wright, the comedian. He's deliberately, catatonic. You're anything but that. I think what you do, you don't have to be super charismatic when this is doing all the work for you. I'm not saying you're not charismatic. I'm just saying it looks natural, it looks spontaneous, it looks conversational, exactly the way you like to connect with people. So it's all about connection, and I thought that was what Howie wasn't getting.
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree with every point you just said, and I think you're right in this. Like David Blaine, you don't say, "Oh, David Blaine, he doesn't have a showmanship." Well, that's not David Blaine. So that's not who I am. My style is very much casual. I'm a performer. I'm out there having fun with you. I don't want to have this showbiz pizzazz, but that's not who I am. If that's not who the judges want or what America wants, that's fine. But I'm just going to give them who I am, rather than what some fake, phony, thing.
David is the half-lidded, mysterious stranger, Quaalude kicked in kind of what.
And you don't say, like, David Blaine doesn't have enough showmanship. No, that's not David Blaine. So I'm going to give him my style. But, like, even back to this about America's Got Talent, before I even filmed for the show, I did the first audition just in front of producers. I told my family, I even posted on social media, I'm going to be on America's Got Talent. Even though there was another 10 processes of doing it. But I think one thing, it was just being confident in who you are, knowing that you can do anything you put your mind to.
Well, knowing that you've got something completely,
that also helps.
Utterly original.
To have an original idea also helps. To have a. But besides that, so that's
The reason I say that, and not that I need to encourage you in any way, but in case Howie's comment got in your head and you thought you'd take it up a notch in the glitz and glamour, good for you. Good for you, because I don't. It's his opinion.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
And at this point, I'm going to continue doing Rubik's Cube magic on ADT. I thought about whether to switch it up or do different routines, but then again, I feel like some of the audience members might be like, "Oh, he's not." They like the connection with the cube.
But do you think they want, or did the producers tell you it needs to be progressively more impressive as you go?
I don't know. I mean, my thing is, I don't really care what the judges say at all. Right now, it's just getting America behind me, and I don't know how far I want to even go in the competition. Just from the media guide alone, that's insane, and I could live off this for another couple of years.
Brilliant.
But I think it's good. It's going to go good to live rounds, to go a few rounds in, and kind of like see what happens with it. But I mean, regardless of the outcome, I'm happy with what's happened so far.
What is the overarching takeaway that you would like to give to the viewers about your success, especially being so young? What are some encouragement possibly?
Yeah, I mean, I think magic, if magic is a hobby for you and you just want it to be a hobby and you have a career, that's fine. If magic is something that you love and you want to make it your passion, I would just go for it. I mean, the worst that could happen is you don't make it and you end up doing what you're going to do before. But if there's even a slight chance that you could do what you really love, and if it is magic and you can make a living doing it, I would highly encourage anyone, because you've done it, I've done it, and other people have done it too. So just put your head down and really focus on what you love.
There's a great line, and I used to believe it for years. Do what you love and the money will follow. I don't buy that anymore. I don't buy it anymore.
You don't?
I did for years. Look at the first 2 weeks of American Idol. They are terrible, a lot of them. They love it, and they actually think they're good. You can't be self-delusional.
You have to be realistic.
You have to be realistic and good.
Yes.
You have to have friends and a mirror and a recorder to know that you're really good.
You have to put in the work. If you want it, you have to make sure you're good first and you're willing to put in the work. And a lot of people are delusional where they're doing it, and then other people look at them like, hey, something's not clicking. So, make sure it fits right. Make sure it's working, but that's a very, very good point.
I think you just nailed it. Do what you love, and the money will follow if you have the realistic talent.
Expectations and talent, yeah.
And expectations to go with it. So I think you've got to, what's the word I'm looking for? Everything.
Yeah, but as far as the cube, it's been just a little puzzle.
That's the crazy part to me. To most people, it's just a puzzle. You took it out of the puzzle category and put it into the deep mystery category.
It's been, yeah. Thank you, man.
Amazing. Good stuff.